Hey, everybody. Sorry about that little 3-minute break there. To be completely honest, I kicked the wire out of the Wi-Fi. So we were right about to go live, and I kicked the Wi-Fi out. So that's the breaks of having your own studio. Get ready. Here we go. Welcome back to SEN Live, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Monday. It's a short week, but it's Turkey Day on Thursday. We're all getting fat. What are you guys going to be doing? What a show we have today. Besides me kicking the internet cord out before we went live, if that's the problem that we got, I'm good with it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again on our morning show here at SEN Live. I'm joined as always by the dynamic duo.
Hello.
Kate Mulligan, Brett Sheridan. What's up, ladies?
I see what you did there.
Right.
You said ladies.
Right. To prep it because you have a
I'm
vagina.
not a lady.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I'm not a lady.
Yeah.
I
have
get
a
it.
slightly smaller vagina.
Yeah,
That's very-
I get it.
Ain't it the
Get it.
truth? David Michael Frank in the house. Look at David's nice camera. Look at that
Yes.
camera. Look at that nice camera that you got. And still with the potato cam, he is Ben Goddard, right from the laundry room.
Filmed on the Motorola Razor, baby.
It's good to have you. Man.
He doesn't need a nice camera. He looked nice.
He does. Listen, we were going to have Mark Ellis on today. Mark Ellis told me he's going to be available tomorrow, which I thought was good. And because I forgot, and Ben Bateman was going to be on the show today, and I booked Ben Bateman last night, and then I forgot. I had already booked somebody.
Oh.
Sitting
Who could
across.
it be?
He is the star of the 1998 hit Burke. He is the one, the only. John Kaiser. Kaiser in the house. Kaiser,
Good
he
to be
says
here,
so.
old boy. Good
It's
to be
crazy.
here.
So you like the studio?
I love it. What do you book Bateman every other night? What is he got a reoccurring gig here? I was gonna book Bateman for the 6th time this week.
I know. So it's funny. Everybody's been giving me smack about that too. People are like, "Well, wait a minute. Bateman's been on a lot. Bateman's got a role inside of the Schmodown. He does. He does a lot of stuff."
I understand that. I learned that over the summer. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you also have. It's funny because last night we posted in the SEN group. We said Kaiser's coming on. A lot of people are excited. One guy goes, "Who's that?" Right? And I said, "Well, have you caught up?"
Well, I clapped back. I was like, "Bitch, you know the name."
Yeah, and he said, "I don't. Sorry." And I said, "What?" And I said to him, "I go, yeah." Well, I said, "Have you been watching Schmodown?" He goes, "I'm up to season 4."
Jesus.
And I see he just went back to start. I actually have, this is one of the things I was hoping for. People who had never watched the Schmodown before that started watching SEN Live said, all right, let me try to check this thing out. And they've gone back and they start watching the seasons now, and we're getting new viewers on the Schmodown. Wow. Kaiser's one of the big personalities. He manages the current singles champion, Paul Oyama. We're going to talk about the spectacular and all of that, but Kaiser knows a lot about it. He's a big movie guy. That's how we met. We met at UCLA.
We did. Well, we met at the New York Film Academy. Let's
UCLA.
not try and make it seem like something it's not.
We're Bruins.
We were shooting on Bolex cameras, which is what they stormed Normandy with. No shit. A 50-pound piece of lead. I'm like,
it wasn't even digital back then. It's
they're
crazy.
like, yeah, only NASA can develop this film.
It's the truth. But,
Well, you had just gotten out of FSU, and I got out of Canisius College.
I was still in FSU.
Oh, you were?
I was still in FSU, and it was just for the summer. I decided not to go to FSU, and I wanted to go to this program.
Oh, right.
My buddy Adam Winkleman was going to come with me to be my roommate there, but last minute couldn't go. So then, you remember Dan Zuniga, right?
Of course.
So Dan Zuniga and I we weren't roommates. We became buddies there, but I was...
Was he an FSU kid?
No, he wasn't. He's
Florida kid, though,
Yeah,
right?
Miami. He lived in Miami. But anyway, so... I met Kaiser there. We were all in this directing film program together, and then I came out with this. So I ran with these guys, this guy Jay and this guy Jeff, back in Florida State, and they were characters, right? Just overall characters, and I wanted to do our last film was like 10-minute film, and I wanted to do this comedy thing about this dude who just doesn't give a shit and runs by his own rules. And I had been hanging with Kaiser.
It's kind of like your Animal House. I always
It was,
thought.
and I was hanging with Kaiser for a bit. I was like, dude, I want you to play the lead. He's like, nah, I'm not acting. I was like, no, I'm telling you, you got to play. You got to do this. This is all. Didn't know what the hell it was going to be.
Right.
And I started telling him what it was going to be, and randomly you had that big, large Hulk Hogan poster in your room, and I was
the
like,
black leather jacket.
Yeah, and I was like, we can use all this,
Right?
And it's still up there. You just type in Burke Kaiser, you can find it out there. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, you
but
basically cast me as a big asshole, and
Yes.
then that's continued now 20 years later.
years
the
ago.
Schmodown.
Well, because he wasn't expecting it too. 'Cause we did this premiere for it with the entire New York Film Academy. It was the only one.
Which is 6 people. No.
No, but it was a lot
No, it
of
wasn't.
people.
No, they had a full theater.
It was a full theater, and it got a standing ovation. It was the only one they said,
Right.
play it again. And we played it again, and people were walking around. He was walking around campus, and people were going, Burke.
Yeah, I was at parties, and some girl's purse went missing, and she's looking at me. I'm like, it's just a movie. I'm not that guy.
It's the truth. But and then what's funny is then years later, he comes back to L.A., and so Smets, who's part of the Schmodown, he says, he's like, yeah, you know my friend. What happened?
I'm trying to do it.
What? You're trying to be. You're trying
to give him something.
You're trying to be on the DL.
Yeah.
Hey!
I was very quiet.
Hey!
All right.
Hey!
Well, my name is under Christians when you go to the 2 shot. There. I tried to do that quietly.
I was RB3 for a full 2 hours on my.
Oh, you're so
Mandalorian,
lucky.
all right? I am.
Still working out
That's
the kinks.
good.
Yeah.
It's
Also,
okay.
you would drive me crazy because if you were starting to say something at dinner and I kicked you under the table,
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Why are you kicking me under the table?"
Well, but that come on, that was not in. That was under the rate. That was not under the
I
radar.
didn't realize how.
My mom did that one time in church. I was falling asleep and she pinched me and I was like, "Ow, Mom!"
Yeah. That's the way you do it. But anyway, so
What is church?
something you've never been to? Are you a religious guy?
I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
I grew up Catholic.
I grew up
Yeah.
Catholic. Yeah. But anyway, so Smets got back involved with Smets got involved with the league and said, hey, you know my buddy. This is even before because you guys were telling me, you would text me and say, you got to get my pal in there.
Well, I walked in his edit bay one day and like, look, you got to help me with this thing. We work on a show called
Right.
a real highbrow show called Marriage Boot Camp, reality stars.
Right.
And I walked in. He was cutting my episode, and I see he's watching Schmodown, and I'm like, oh, you watching Schmodown? He's like, you know Schmodown? I'm like, yeah, my buddy Christian runs the thing.
Yeah.
He's like, what? You know Christian Harloff? I'm like, yeah, I know Christian. And that's when I started texting you, like,
Get
get
this
my
kid
boy
in there.
because I
He does
guess
a great he does a Macho Man impression. And then he auditioned as Macho Man.
I didn't know that
I'm
was going to happen.
I'm like, I can't do a gimmick infringement here, man. I'm like, it's a
Right.
good impression, but I can't have Macho Man running around the Schmodown.
This is how great manager-player relationships are born.
It's
And
crazy, yeah,
Took
'cause
the boy under my wing, and
Because you were bummed when you heard he didn't get in, right? You're like, what the
I
hell?
was, and I was more mad at you than I'm like, come on, man, do me a solid, let my buddy in. I'm sure he's good than some of these flunkies you probably let in the league. But anyways, he ended up proving himself, and
You did.
truth be told, we kind of figured out that whole dungeon thing,
Yeah.
behind editorial bay doors.
Oh, it's all, well, look, now he's getting a shot at the strap come December 7th. We'll talk about a lot of that stuff too. But we're also here because, as you know, we have had the last week alone, for you guys being so supportive as you were with all the schmobots that have come in and all the super chats and
just the fact that Anthony Nugent exists on
exists.
the
Yeah,
planet.
that's true. Yeah, streamlabs.com/theshmodown. You guys have been producing the show, and you've been producing and keeping us on, and we've been doing very well because of you guys, and we're able to get more guests and keep it going here too. So we will turn the Schmobot on in just a second. While I'm curious how the Schmobot and John Kaiser are going to get along.
I'm like the Mandalorian. I don't like droids.
Have you been watching the show?
Hell yeah. It's
great, isn't it?
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
This
All right,
third
let's-
episode, Barn Burner.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really was great. Let me tell you something though, and already I know I was so bummed because I know I'm gonna get heat on this already. I couldn't stand the episode 9 clip that came out today.
Episode 9 clip.
They
Oh,
released
for the new movie.
They released it.
Oh,
and
okay.
I'm looking forward to this movie. I really am. I'm excited for it. The humor in it made me go. Oh.
Why they're trying to like get that 80s.
It was in the 80s. It was like
What
it
the
was
hell was it?
so the scene itself is fine. It's they're being chased and stormtroopers are after them and they're riding after them and it's cool. It's like, okay, it's Star Wars. And then
Total canon.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you know it.
But I'm watching it, and then they're coming after him, and they're shooting after him, and then the 2 stormtroopers fly off into the air, and they're attacking the ship. So C-3PO goes, oh, they can fly now? Okay.
Right. Coloring book joke.
Then Finn goes, wait, they can fly now? Okay, 2's enough. They turn to Poe, and he goes, they can fly now. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I'm like, that scene was brutal. And I'm like,
who's directing this one?
J.J. Abrams.
Did J.J. have a hand in writing it?
I think so. It
Did he
is.
get his boy Lindelof to knock that out?
Yeah,
for
it's
him?
like, and there was someone else said too. Why is Rey even running from stormtroopers? She could turn around. That I don't know, because there's maybe more context to it, but just it for me was not the scene itself of the being chased. That looked cool. I'm so worried about the dialogue, especially after coming off of what I've just been watching on Disney Plus. So I mean,
Favreau, did he dream up this whole thing? Did he just go back into the inner workings in Star Wars and pluck this story up? Is that how?
Yeah,
what's the genesis
the
of it?
line is they fly now. By the way, they fly now.
They fly now? Yeah.
They fly now. And it's like, oh my god! I felt it was like a cartoon. And you could have started off like, and it's like, oh man.
There was always been some degree of that though to these pictures.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, you're expecting it not to be
Not
that way.
not to that extent. It's
Right.
like, because I turned to David, who'd seen the clip, and I said I would have been fine with it if C-3PO goes, they fly now. Okay,
leave it at that.
He didn't know because he hasn't been around it. And then even Finn, it's he says it. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the rule of 3.
Right.
You don't have to.
No, you don't.
You don't have to.
A lot of things you do, but no, not that.
Yeah.
Not a shit joke.
That was, dude.
Oh man,
That was rough.
I'm always worried for these movies. I always go in with low expectations. Ever since, the reboot, well, not the reboots, when they went back before New Hope. I mean, they just got progressively worse. And
Ooh, you just got attacked by prequelists.
I know. Well, someone said A New Hope had dumb cheese humor. Not like that.
no,
Not like that. I mean, there was it all. And
but you know what? You got to take into consideration a lot of people, they're kids when they watch these movies, and we were kids when we watched these movies. And so there is a degree of that has to be implemented.
I just don't know if that's the clip.
No, kids are smart. I mean, they got the internet now. We didn't.
But even that, I don't think that's the clip that you should be releasing.
No,
right now.
I don't know what
Not after
value that brings.
Not after that. Just let that hit in the theater, and you go, oof, brush it off. What's next?
Yeah, you don't want to give up such a great joke. So you're like,
If that was the best joke in the movie,
that was
if
the
they
best.
really were blowing their
Oh, my
comedy
God.
load with that clip.
I know.
Can you imagine?
Or what if instead it's like, they fly now? They fly now. McClunky! That would have been it. I don't know. I mean, I have very high hopes for the movie. I still do, and I still think it's going to be really good. I did not like that. We're going to get to the Schmobot here at Stream Labs, and I do. If you guys have questions, by the way, for Kaiser, or there's certain things that you guys want to talk about, did you like the clip? Let us know if did you dig the clip that they released today? And
Did you dig the clip that Christian just shit all over?
but I mean, it's sure a lot. I mean,
Go
I don't
ahead,
know.
say something. Say something about it. Tell us how you liked
say
it.
you liked it.
You dumb.
I'm curious if they did. Today we have a lot of great stuff to talk about besides just that clip. We have Sacha Baron Cohen went all in on social media. We're going to get into that for sure if you saw the title here. Tim Miller also went all in, and because James Cameron had made some comments about Tim Miller and their process and how they didn't see eye to eye, but they came to an agreement. And then Tim Miller, talking about the failure of Terminator, then addressed those comments, and that'll come out in just a little bit too. Oh, that was a good one, Kate.
It's a La Croix.
I was holding mine in.
I'm trying to see if it's that
LaCroix.
Lou Malnati sausage pizza.
The sausage pizza? No, it's a
Smells like
little oatmeal with maple
I actually
sugar.
don't know anything.
man,
I
could
wish.
go for
I wish
a
I
bowl of
did.
that right
Hello
now.
with me.
Don't you got an intern that could whip us up a bowl of cream of wheat or something?
Yeah.
It's our sponsor. Cream
Yeah,
of
the
wheat.
cream of wheat, man.
Cream of wheat. It's
Yeah,
like Ovaltine. We'll go back to that Christmas story.
I've spent 4 minutes with Kaiser, and already
You love him.
I love him because also, like, first of all, I've never heard Seth Rogen talk so New York. He's like, oh yeah, he got his boy Lindelof.
Damon Lindelof.
It is
He's got
absolutely
his
true.
boy.
Yeah.
Hey, you got an intern?
I do get
Yeah.
that Rogan
Whip
shit
us-
when I wear my glasses.
I didn't want to say it because
Dude,
it was too.
you-
What is this?
This is one of the cool features we have that you can hold a phone up to a
Maybe
mic.
if I do this, is it still?
Yeah, girl.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, still
I get Tom Arnold sometimes when I don't have the glasses.
Oh, really?
That's flattering.
Yeah.
less Seth Rogen now, but still.
can do his voice.
Seth Rogen's
No, you
good
didn't
too.
pick up.
It's a little bit we call
Who are you trying to call, Dagnino?
ringing
Oh my
phone.
God.
I don't want to give it yet. No,
Okay,
not
okay,
Dagnino.
okay,
I have a
okay.
special. If that person calls in, if they're around, it'll be nice to have them.
And
on
by the
show.
way, Rode, if you could teach us how to use the phone feature on the.
No, I told people now. I said you're just gonna call into my phone and do it because we'll do that because this person calling in later will be a lot of fun. But we are gonna turn the Schmobot on, ladies and gentlemen. Go on over to streamlabs.com/the Schmodown and we turn the Schmobot on. She's waking up, ladies and gentlemen. Listen,
Oh, it's always so
she's
exciting.
on. Well, 'cause you
Where
never
do
know
you
what she's
keep
gonna
this
do.
thing? Is it like under the table or what?
Yeah.
Where do you,
It's the garbage can.
oh, yeah.
That's what
right.
Andrew
about
Guy
right.
thought it was a real robot too.
Right, I'm
by the
sure
way.
he did.
Yeah.
Also, another guy's thing. He's like, "Oh, you got the baseball. Yoda's got the baseball. I gave you for your sons. I don't have sons. I thought you had 1 and 1.
You got 1 and 1.
Brett goes. He just literally walked by both your daughters.
I only talked to one, though. The other one zipped by me, and I was talking about Frozen with the other one.
He's hung over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not today.
No. Why would I be hungover after a football Sunday?
Yeah.
No. Why?
During
would
a
you?
late 49er game. I'm a 49er fan.
Are you 49?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, I grew up in the Montana era, so, you know. And
Yeah, but you also grew up in the Sims era,
Yeah,
Where did you grow up?
Rochester, New York.
Okay.
Which
yeah,
is
close to San Francisco.
Yes, right next to
just
the sister
the state
city.
north of the Bronx.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
Christian grew up. No, I grew up in that Montana era, and it was something about, you know, I grew up in an
Kaiser,
Italian
I've been
neighborhood.
wondering how much time does Christian dedicate before the show to warning new guests about the proliferation of schlongs on SEN?
How long?
Schlong's what?
So how long do I prep you to know about the fact that the Schmobot will be talking about schlongs and whatnot?
Oh, you don't tell me shit. I'm lucky if I get a text message what time to show up. This kid, oh, yeah, you were supposed to be on today. Hey, come by, here's the address. What are we talking about? Just show up and sit down. We'll figure it out. All right.
Yeah,
such
has our relationship changed?
well-read robot, though, to
I know.
the
Yeah.
proliferations.
Yes.
She's getting better. She's learning. I think.
Yes.
Does the thing actually learn? I feel like it does.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't getting like the way it down,
Yeah.
but it actually learns now
Yeah.
a little bit more.
When Judgment Day comes, I'm coming for that fucking thing first.
Yeah,
Okay.
trust me. You're a big fan of Kaiser already.
Already.
Yeah,
I just also feel like as soon as you, I feel like Kaiser's one of those people that's like, did you just talk to my girl funny? Did you just talk to my girl funny?
Did you get into a lot of scraps back in the day?
A couple.
Yeah, I feel like you
Sure.
got into
I
not
think
now.
no.
I just
I'm
feel
too old
like
for that.
I feel
I think
like
my
I'm
last
not
fight
saying
was
you were
on
a
Easter
fighter,
in
but-
1999.
Kaiser
Was it?
looks like a middle school gym teacher who puts
That's
on
about right.
glasses to look more
That's funny.
respectable.
Yeah.
Ask Ben Goddard about screaming at spiders in Fallen Order.
Okay.
I am leaving soon to go on tour with Cheech Marin.
Oh,
We
is that
will be
true?
Cheech and Schlong.
So you've got this schlong running joke. Is that
that's the robot is because you can't say cock and balls, you can't say all that
Yeah.
stuff. So they say
you haven't
schlong.
taught him that one yet, huh?
No, well, they don't let it come through if you try it.
A lot of people are saying, I think this schlong thing's going to get
Yeah.
tiresome. I'm like, fuck. No.
No, schlong is one of those like vaudevillian
Yeah,
words
you
that
can't.
stand the test of time.
Schlong is
Kaiser,
canon.
how
Mel
many
Brooks has been
schlongs
saying
can a
schlong for
slapper
200 years.
slap when a schlong slapper can slap? Schlongs.
Schlong.
So
You're gonna do schlong haikus and
Yeah.
shit.
That's what happens. It's funny.
But anyways, I became
Yeah.
a Montana fan because he was winning Super Bowls. The Buffalo Bills weren't at the time. They were terrible. I didn't get down with the Giants and the Jets, so I just kind of gravitated towards that Montana. He was a
get it. My
paisano.
friend-
I'm half Italian, and it stuck with me.
My friend Dante was like that too. But why'd you get into a fight at Easter?
Oh, God.
The Emperor
This
is
100
speaking.
years ago.
Execute Order 66.
Oh, boy.
So wait, my schlong is about to be cut off. No, Anakin, not my schlong. I was gonna make you my apprentice, don't cut it off. Oh darn. My schlong was cut by a lightsaber. Order 66 cancelled. You are all welcome.
Oh, I see. You just cut off a schlong, and you don't have to worry about the destruction of the Jedi.
There
Did
you go.
Thanos get his schlong cut off? In the, oh, that was his arm.
His head.
Oh.
I
sorry.
didn't get that
Spoiler.
far.
I finally watched it, so
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about spoiling it
Well,
anymore.
if you haven't seen that movie at this point,
Kate,
oh.
this is your manager. I have the perfect role for you in the upcoming Star Wars. The Rise of Kate's Hand into the Child.
All right.
Swipe, 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 swipe. Keep it very sweaty.
Yeah. So yeah, why'd you get into a fight in East?
Why do you got to keep coming back to fight?
Because you
Nobody
brought it
wants
up.
to talk.
Why
You
did
brought it up. You asked.
I asked, but then you said I haven't gotten into a fight since
In a long
1999 and Easter.
That was a guess.
But you have to assume that you're with with family. Did you
No.
fight someone in your family on
No.
Easter?
It was like, the bar's open on Easter night. Right. So when you're done, eating your honey baked ham and whatnot, you go out to the bars and
I feel like you had a good right hook.
I want to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was the guy who tried to talk my way out of the
I
fight
could
first.
see it.
I was never the first guy to swing. I figured, look, I could talk my way out. I'm like Better Call Saul. I'll get in there and it doesn't always work.
Love the show and
You know what
just
I mean?
can't
fun?
explain the joy.
You like
enough.
Oh my God.
Have a great Thanksgiving. I have
my
served.
God.
I will be of service. Sincerely, Will H.
Wog, you are.
Whoa.
Wog is.
Wow.
I think he just won the month with that one. Holy crap, Wog! Thank you.
Wow.
One of our very loyal
Wog is his name?
Wog, and he deserves you look. Listen, he can cut you off anytime he wants.
Yeah.
All right.
Unbelievable.
Wog.
Thank
Holy
you,
Got to
Wog.
start
Shit.
learning who these people are.
Yeah,
These-
well, that was a good one. But you would
Yeah,
talk your way out of the.
I was trying to talk
you,
my
Wog.
way out of a friend of mine getting in a fight, and then I couldn't.
Couldn't do it.
Didn't work.
Guy just wasn't wanting to hear it.
He just wanted to fight,
I
yeah.
get it.
I guess I don't mean that I think you would fight, but I just feel like you would defend the honor verbally. I feel like you're like a verbal
Christian,
swordsmith.
my opinion is no matter how good episode 9 is, there will be no pleasing me. Internet fan base, I don't believe episode 8 would have been as criticized if it was made 20 years ago. Would you agree?
Which one's
Thankfully,
episode
Mando
8?
finale
Last Jedi.
comes out after it.
I don't know if I necessarily agree. Years are years, but it's like it just depends on how the internet definitely is. I think the overall point that he's trying to make, and I think you're probably right if it comes down to that, because I mean you look at Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks, probably would have gotten a lot more hate these days than it did even in '83, and it got a lot of shit for putting Ewoks in that thing. But I don't know. I don't think you're wrong that there's going to be complaints on it. And like I said, when I clicked on that clip today, I was super excited. I tuned into it going, and then when the two lines were said, I'm like, oh, that's fine. And then when they turned to Poe and he said it, I'm like, we're going right back to where we left off in 8 with the humor here. But I hope we don't stick with that the whole time.
I haven't laughed out loud in a Star Wars movie in forever.
Right. But Mandalorian, I laughed a lot
Well, yeah,
when it was, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like, well, Mandalorian, that's not what I'm trying to do.
No,
But
you
it's
can't
just,
compare.
There's a thing with the flamethrower. There's just things that happen in that show. When we watched it, you laughed
Yeah.
out loud like 6 times.
Yeah.
So
Well, I also-
I'm just
Weird. It's like a Western.
That clip just made me really nervous. All right, let's
I
get.
also like how do you like how the robot will be like, I think you should all kill yourselves tomorrow. Like she always like hangs. She's like, you're just like,
Who's that? Start looking around the room like
her the way she sort of rolls through sentences is
Yeah.
not necessarily organic.
No. All right. Here's some. We're going to start with streamlabs.com/theschmodown as far as questions go. And the Schmobot's still on. So we will get to. I want to make sure.
I noticed your laptop has a corruption sticker, but
And
I
Shire
don't
Wolves.
see any dungeon
We don't have the
stickers.
stickers yet. Emil
haven't dungeon
Nikolov
anything yet.
said, I've been following you and Mark since the first year Reviewers Awards. Through your passion for film, you inspired me to get into film school. This year, I'm finishing up my degree in film editing and recently got a job as an editor. I love SEN.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome, Emil.
Go to film school. Go
yeah.
make movies.
Don't make movies?
No, go make movies.
Oh, go make movies. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's start here with PC. This is the best guess yet. Thank you, Christian. What's up, Kaiser? How was your weekend? Hey, guys, how your weekend was? This is very
My
nice.
weekend was good. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kept it pretty low key. I, did a beach hike.
Yeah.
Did about 6 miles on the beach, and then I went and
6 miles.
watched the 49er game, and had a couple beers.
It was that.
I kept it kind of, coming into the holidays, I don't like to go too hard. I like to kind of hold back because
Ease into it.
once I hit Rochester soil, it's like Tombstone. All bets are off,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I get it. Oh, there you go. So,
I think I'm going to go home for the
Also,
holidays.
Thanksgiving is
Yeah.
not. I mean, you're gonna really turn up at Easter.
Oh, yeah.
it's
Easter gets rough.
You got-
Yeah.
Yeah, Easter's when you.
push turkey to the side. Favorite
Those
dish.
resurrections can be tough, man. You gotta fight your way through that shit.
What's your favorite dish? Not the turkey.
Oh, stuffing all day
Stuffing.
long. My grandmother, man, made the best stuffing.
I destroy mashed potatoes with gravy. I just destroy
About
it.
right
Yeah.
for you.
Use it all. Lather up with the butter. Should have seen me yesterday with pancakes.
Oh,
I'm not a big pancake guy, but this place John O'Groats over here.
Yeah. Johnny O'Groats.
Johnny Groats.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
Johnny
Why'd
O'Groats
you
is
get
my
into
boy.
baseball?
Yeah.
Johnny O. Grody. Johnny O. Gross. How about you, Brett? What do you do? Cranberry man?
No, cheesy corn grits. It's Leaf makes it. It's a Southern thing, and that one I've really learned. We've done our own Thanksgiving for 20 years, where none of us fly back to our families. We just do it out here, and I'm cooking 2 turkeys as usual,
crap.
and
Two?
Hey.
yeah,
That many
2
people?
birds, one on the
Wow.
grill.
How many people are you cooking for? 63 people?
21.
Somebody
We've
have
had
a
up
seizure?
to 30. Yeah.
Ben's dropping his mic to let us know
Mic
that he
drop.
wants to say something. What's your favorite dish?
I'm honestly not a big Thanksgiving food fan, but my dad has started
You're a
cooking
nihilist?
steaks instead of turkey. So I'm a New York steak kind of guy. Medium rare.
Nice.
I ate the brisket for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
I like the brisket.
Yeah. I
The
like
brisket.
the tripe.
You tuna and cheese?
Yeah, good. Yeah, of course. No, I like the classic cranberry and dark meat turkey combo.
Look at
There you
you.
go.
I like how
Yeah.
confident you were when you
Fancy.
said that.
Yeah.
By the way, you really you knew that was coming. He's got that smile. He's just like, yeah, that's what I
Well,
like.
you were talking about Easter earlier, and as a Jew, I have no clue what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, sorry. Easter, it's Passover, but instead of Elijah coming, Jesus comes back.
But you still do the thing with blood on your door?
Yeah.
You still do the thing with blood, and you still leave an open seat at the table, and
Yeah.
you still recline.
Look at you with the
And you
culture.
still dip
My
the
goodness.
maror. No, what is
Oh,
it?
wow.
No.
Yeah,
You were almost there.
I'm
You were
telling
almost there.
you,
You were selling it.
I am so close to being Jewish.
Fuck all of you, go Bills.
Go
Many
Bills.
tables give their lives every week. Don't disrespect their sacrifice. But seriously, love all of you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Nice.
That was very nice.
Yeah, and duck the Bills.
Duck
Duck
the
the Bills. Well,
Bills.
it's smart. Hey, because if you
Got
say
that
it
in
fast
there.
enough, it sounds like you.
Oh, I thought that was a Bills fan shouting
were.
out the Bills.
I think they
Oh,
were.
duck the Bill. I get
Duck-
it.
yeah,
Duck the
yeah,
curse.
yeah,
Need
yeah.
Kaiser's input on the debate that is tearing the SEN, Schmoy down community aside. How does Kaiser feel about tuna mac?
Yeah. So mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's not a tuna melt, but mac and cheese and tuna together.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passin' craze.
What does it mean?
It means no worries for the
Okay.
rest of your days.
What kind of
It's our
philosophy?
problem-free philosophy.
Oh, okay, good.
Hakuna Matata.
How do we go from mac
That
and
was a
cheese
nice
to the Lion King?
Yeah.
That's how this goes.
That's how
This
it
is-
goes.
You
this
shouldn't
is-
mix those two things together.
What's wrong with you?
I hang with some Hawaiian brothers, and they do the tuna with the mac salad.
Yeah.
No cheese.
What's wrong with mac and cheese and tuna?
He's got some Hawaiian
have you ever
boys.
had, have you ever
What's
had a
up,
tuna
Kaiser?
melt?
I am from Rochester, New York as well. What part are you from? I live in Brockport.
Oh, you live
Have
in
a happy
Brockport.
Thanksgiving, guys.
Part.
Gotten a couple scraps of Brockport University. That's true, actually.
Is that true?
That's a true story. I'll tell you that one.
And why would I bring up the fighting?
But
Yeah.
This guy was like Tyson back into that. Showing up.
leaves it-
I only talked out of it after I was done punching a guy in the larynx.
Listen, I was not a fighter. I was always. I played college football, and so you
Right.
hang out with a lot of meatheads. But my best friends were actually on the hockey team and the baseball
Oh, yeah,
team.
those guys would scrap.
Because hockey players are like stand-up comedians. They're cool. Football players are meatheads. They're dorks. You know what I mean? Like
right.
baseball players are like cowboys. Like, and I grew up in baseball, so I gravitated towards those dudes. You know what I mean? But to answer your question, Greece. Greece is the town I'm from in Rochester.
Oh, look at that.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet potatoes.
Oh, so you figured it out?
Yeah, sweet
Okay, good.
potatoes. No, nobody asked
can
me.
that be
That's
a
all.
sweet potato?
Nobody asked.
You went like
Nobody
this.
asked.
You were like when I asked Brett about what his top 5 directors are in the last 10 years. You went like this.
Roll it back. Roll it back.
Roll the clip.
Roll the
we
clip.
can't do
Let's
that.
see if I actually did
Can we
that.
call you Sweet Potatoes Mulligan from now on?
Yes.
Sweet potatoes
Better
mulligan.
than Sarnak.
Sarlacc.
Yeah.
Sarnak.
I'd
Whatever.
like to get on the
Sarlacc.
mac and cheese and tuna thing.
Yes.
That was like fancy back. You do mac, and then I'm going to throw some people off here. Threw some peas in there too.
Yes, I do that too.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and
too.
I can't get my kids to
you
eat
want,
it.
You want to really gross people out? That's what I do sometimes too. A little broccoli in there too.
Little broccoli, yeah.
Too. That, now people are going to
But that was our fancy. That's how you fancied it up, and you
Fancied
made
it
it
up,
like an
yeah.
actual meal.
That's right. ZCM Zombie Custom Maps. I love everything you do, Christian and the gang. Kaiser is the best. I was wondering how y'all are going to handle COPPA. Now, so what's the main? To be honest, my head's been in the sand for it. I know that the COPPA, the main thing is with the kids. You got to make sure that if you have children material, you got to let them know. If you're not for kids, you got to. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, children-friendly content. It's for advertisers. But you
have to let them know if you're not.
Yeah, I can just leave it so that you can just. They're all children-friendly. We don't swear here.
Oh, okay.
You're fine.
All right, cool.
What do you got to put a disclaimer up? Is that how it works?
I don't know. There's a lot of new stuff happening. A lot of
Copa,
people,
it's called.
So a lot of people want to jump ship. A lot of people want to jump ship off YouTube and like just go to Twitch and other things
Right.
too, because people get nervous about what this means, is how they can be taken down. So I guess we'll talk more about this a little later on, what we should be doing with the show. But I don't know enough about it. My head's been in the sand for it. I see everybody.
Right.
It's like one of those things. I feel like if I stop looking at it at Twitter when people ask me about it, that if I stick my head in the sand, it'll just go away. But I know it won't.
Well,
I
just
just
keep
don't want to
doing
deal
your
with it right
thing
now.
until someone tells you otherwise.
Yeah, because apparently I don't know. They can sue you or something.
Yeah, or your channel could lose monetization.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll figure it out. And when is that
Tell
going to
them,
play?
we sue you. You don't sue us.
You know, when's that going to play? Do we know? When that
I think
goes
it's
to-
already gone.
Oh, good.
It's that notification at the top of your YouTube login screen.
All right, well,
That's a bunch of
Also, we all need to get
fiddly
real
foo.
IDs. Yeah.
It really-
Why would anybody do a darn stinking thing like that?
I mean,
Oh, duck the bills.
Duck the
yeah,
bills.
like my 2-year-old says now. It's stinky.
Yes.
Like, she didn't like the food that she had the dish, and we hear her by herself. She goes, "It's stinky."
It was.
Why does she sound
tuna
like a
mac and
Mexican
cheese.
bandit from Three Amigos?
But she was like, "It's stinky." We were cracking up because she did like 4 times in a row, and she lowered her voice. It's stinky.
She's definitely your kid.
No, 100%.
Some people in the chat were saying that you can get fined $42,000.
That's a number.
So
how do you
what's
come
the-
up with 42,000?
So what's the problem with just admitting we're not for kids?
Yeah, we have done that. So what is? I mean,
We should
that's
probably talk about this off air.
probably. Oh, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. We'll figure it out. And so keep sending in those donations. Okay. Let's
Hey, Wog, do you have $42,000?
$1,000.
Just a quick 42G.
I need 42K.
Don't
So,
ask
yeah,
questions.
I'll have the fun.
God.
Yes. Oh my God. All right. I'll have to figure that out.
Hey gang,
Oh,
and
yeah.
welcome the #1 contender for the Schmoydown Manager of the Year, the Great
The number one
Kaiser.
contender.
Here's the thing with
Yeah.
tuna and cheese.
Oh, I know. I
The
don't know.
cheese cuts into the tartness of the tuna and mayo. I was against it, but I admit shockingly it does work. Hashtag the dungeon.
Oh, big
Dungeon fans. You see?
Dungeon fans.
A lot
That's
of
someone who
Dungeon fans
actually
in
knows
here.
something.
No, there's a lot of Dungeon fans in here. The
Because
Dungeon
they're
has,
smart people.
they've been so Lion's Den was the first faction.
Right.
That was the
That's
first
Bobby.
big one. That was Bobby's first one that he did. That was the big one that really took off. And you had the Horsemen,
Yeah.
you had, the Fife Club,
Yeah.
Corruption, the Dungeon. But the Dungeon has hit because people didn't know who the hell you were.
They didn't know who we were.
You were Smets, and Smets doing as well as he did
Helped.
and you being the mouth that you are.
I don't know what
helped.
you're talking
That's
about.
right. And then you get Oyama and you get Zip, and they're
Love
both
him.
having a hell of a year.
Yeah.
And I think Zip's a sneaky player.
I love Zip.
Yeah, it's a sneaky
Zip
player.
I met at Free For All, and he walked up to me and he was carrying a cake around backstage.
His
And
birthday,
I'm
yeah.
like, what are you doing with the cake, pal? And he's like, I'm gonna go out on stage and eat this entire thing. I'm like, well, you go do that. Now, clearly, I thought he was nuts, but I liked him right away. So, and he's been fun. And the kid's a comedian and an actor, and
He's really good.
witty as shit. and
Zipper's one of my favorite people. He really
one
is.
of the greatest, man.
He
And
does, because he's not.
it was a good pairing.
Yeah, and he's also a guy that like, he wants to win. He wants to play. He's
Yep.
very competitive. People don't realize that about
Absolutely.
him. Very competitive, but he also is just one of those guys. Like, yeah, what can I do? Let me help out.
He's a great improver too,
He
which
really
is why I
is.
love working
Very
with
funny.
him.
Okay, Chris. Chris says, I'm loving the new show and the network. Is there any chance?
Kaiser, where do you stand on Buffalo Wing, Anchor Bar, or Duff's also favorite garbage plates?
Ooh, that's the guy
Jimmy's or
who's
Nick's Tahoe?
Jimmy Z or Nick's Tahoe?
Nick Tahoe's is the original. Do you know what a garbage plate
No, what
is?
is this?
No.
You know what a garbage
I
plate is.
don't think I do.
It's like the standard Rochester. You go there and when you're drunk and hammered.
How the
It's
hell would I
open
know
24
that? I live in
hours.
Queens.
Well, like Jimmy Fallon talked about it
Oh,
on his
okay.
show, and it's like a thing. Like everyone who knows Rochester knows the garbage plate. It's a stack of mac salad, a stack of home fries. Ooh, sorry. And then on top of that, 2 cheeseburgers with meat sauce ladled over the top.
Oh, wow.
It's phenomenal. Or you could do a hot dog and a
Is that for one person? or
yeah,
that's
it's for one person.
Wow.
And Nick Tahoe's is the original place.
That's the
so the
garbage.
answer to your question is Nick Tahoe's because that's the original. And it's kind of like this famed thing. When Motley Crue played the War Memorial in Rochester, they'd stop and go get a garbage plate, in '84 and after the show. Like everyone went there.
Yeah.
So it's like the most popular after-hours food
But there was
joint.
another question on that one.
He asked me the wings, and I would
Oh, yeah,
say
yeah.
I would say Gabriel's Gate in Buffalo is my favorite wings. I do like the Anchor Bar. They're the OG. The grandmother in the kitchen invented them there back in 50 something. I don't know, the Frankie Valley days.
Yeah.
But I would say Gabriel's Gate is my favorite wings in Buffalo.
Yeah. How do we not have you and Dagnino on the show together
Yeah.
at the same time?
You got to do that. It's my buddy.
I really want to do a Dagnino Kaiser show.
Yeah, you
really,
gotta.
I really want to have a show with you.
Well, it's like I said in Orlando, Tom Dagnino is my friend. Bobby Gucci isn't.
What a match that was, too. So much more to talk to Kaiser about here, too. And we're going to get into the news stories in a bit, but I want to read Chris's thing. He says, I'm loving this new show, network. Any chance that you can get Ken Knapsack on the show, or does his current employer forbid that type of thing? Also, his book, Why We Love Star Wars, is now in audio form, and it is also narrated by Ken, and it's great. I'm sure it is. Ken's a Star Wars master. I don't know. As far there's no forbidding as far as anybody going on. I mean, Alex Marzoni is coming on the show next week at some point.
He is. Oh, hey, Alex.
He's so cute.
So-
I gotta say, I'll say it. I hate Ken, and I told Christian never to have him on the show.
Right.
I mean,
Now when you're on it together.
I mean, what a worthless
He should come out with-
POS. He's
POS,
a
baby.
stinky Stinkerston.
He's stinky. No, Ken. Obviously, he's gonna. We at one point we were gonna bring back Inside Schmodown, but then we came up with the idea of Schmodown backstage, and that kind of took a back seat. Ken, he also lives on the other side. Well, so does Kate, so I guess
Yeah.
it's not a big thing. But yeah, Ken and
But
I
he's
have
a
been
man, so we take that into
Yeah, right.
consideration.
We're talking.
Sweet potatoes. My answer is sweet potatoes.
Thank
Wait,
you,
what's
Sweet
your last
Potatoes.
name? Mulligan?
Mulligan. Yeah.
Sweet Potatoes Mulligan.
Yeah.
It sounds like a character
When she
in Peaky
competes.
Blinders. that's your new alias.
Sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet
Mulligan.
Sweet potatoes Mulligan. By the way, Kaiser, who is also going to be there with Smets and Oyama at the Schmodown Expo, which will be doing the Schmodown Expo December 7th, the schmodownlive.com. You can get the tickets. It will grant you access to the actual show itself, the Schmodown Spectacular, but it's Kaiser, Smets, Oyama, Roca, Merle, Mara Kanopik, Chance Ellison, Mike Kalinowski, Breanne Chandler. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, very special call
boy.
coming in here. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, making his debut on the show. Caller, can you say hello?
Hey, how you doing, Saul?
Hey, it's Saul. Saul's first call
Wow.
into I was about to say Collider Live. Into how you doing there, buddy?
I'm hanging in there. How's everyone over there? How's your bit rate holding up?
Bit rate's holding up pretty good. Kaiser's on the show here today. Have you ever interacted with Kaiser before?
No, I've never met. No, we've never had an interaction.
Well, this is your first one, so anything you would like to say? Are you a big fan of Kaiser? Oh, by the way, so maybe this is the first time we can say this. Saul will actually be in the draft this year.
Oh, really?
We're putting him in the draft of the of the Schmodown next year.
He was always funny as shit on Collider.
He's
when I
really
was
good.
in there.
Funniest,
he's a
yeah.
good
So,
dude.
Saul, why?
No pressure, Saul.
Why should a manager like Kaiser be paying attention to you?
Well, I'll say this to Kaiser and all the other managers. You don't got to pay attention to me. You don't have to. It's fine. I'll just be there.
It's
And
fine.
I'm gonna go manager free. I think for the first season or two. So
Oh well,
don't worry about it.
that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
He's going to enter the draft, but be
You're gonna enter
manager
the draft,
free.
he's gonna say
I'm just
no.
curious who would have drafted.
He's going to make his own rules already. That's
I'm
what
gonna
Saul-
walk out.
Saul, make my own rules. Whatever your last name is. What the hell is your last name?
Gobbledygoots.
Saul Gobbledygoots. Saul
Gobbledygoots.
Gobbledygoots. What do you got for us, Goots?
I'm not putting my last name out there. You don't know that I got warrants.
You are a wanted man. I'm telling you, a faction with Saul, Dagnino, and Kaiser together would be something. Just a night out in the town.
Saul,
Who
do you
gets-
know what a garbage plate is?
I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing people. What did Kate just say?
I said, do you know what a garbage plate is?
Yeah, it's a plate with garbage on it.
Just Google it. If anyone wants to know what it looks like, Google garbage plate. It's the greatest thing to drink or eat when you got 10 beers in you.
And then Google gobbledygook.
Gobbledygooks.
So what's the latest and greatest in the world of Saul? I haven't talked to you in a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I'm losing all my heat. What's going on?
Your kid flew all the way out to see you on your last show, and
I
this is how
know.
you treat him.
Hey, it's the first time I realized I could do call-ins with him. So now he's been floating back and forth. He's a free agent, so he runs back.
right.
He steals airtime wherever he can
He
get it.
seems like the kind of guy that would have jumped on a train to get there for your last show.
I think he did.
Hopped a train with sweet potatoes, mulligan, and with a rucksack over their shoulder.
Saul,
Hey, take it easy with the funny jokes.
So you know what? Is it now Ken's out and now Kaiser's out too?
Yeah, me and Ken are public enemy number one.
All right, Saul, say something funny so Brett hates you.
A little too many. You're hitting too many today.
I'm gonna leave my hand out so you can just slap it. Here, you can have this trident thing. Just gingerly nudge me. Like, I'm kind of the star of this thing.
Kaiser leaves the room today with 3 fingers. Sorry, Saul. You were saying?
Go ahead.
No, I can't hear a fuck.
I call you a fucking
We're working on the
decent.
technology.
Yeah, we're gonna do call-in soon, but this is the speaker version.
Evidently there's a technology problem. I haven't noticed. Yeah, there we go. The timing of this call is great when you can't hear the other 3 people.
Well, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll just be like the soul bot, and I'll just go schlong.
Well, thank you so much, Saul. So we'll figure this
What is
out.
Saul working? Waste disposal or waste management?
I think he does for sure. He shows
A
up.
wink and a nudge?
Yeah, right. He shows up. He just blew up 3 pizzerias and got the insurance for him. All right. Well, we'll
IRA.
Yeah, Saul, I'll get you back on pretty soon. We'll figure it out.
All right, guys. Good to hear from you.
Bye, Saul.
Good to meet you, Saul.
Bye, you blonde beauty.
Now, whose is this?
He misses me most of all.
Oh, yeah, of course. Look at the
Hello?
other degenerates.
Hello? Hello?
My name is Lovely. How can I help you?
Oh.
Hello?
What are you getting a collect call from jail?
Lovely. How can I help you?
Someone just called me.
Am I speaking to Terry Hunt?
Oh, Terry's not here. Well,
Best time to call him then.
no. There was
Goodbye.
no.
Did you do prank phone calls as a kid growing
Yeah,
up?
all
I
the
could
time.
totally
This
see
is
that.
the fucked up thing. They can tell when you have picked up a call and they will call you.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you had just picked up a call from Saul and they're like, oh, we'll call. He'll pick up now.
But because that someone else, they keep asking for Terry. Terry used to have my old,
Terry Hunt.
Oh,
maybe so. But
We had to explain to the kids about like prank calling. How
Oh,
like,
really?
Like how it's impossible to do it now.
It was an Olympic sport in my
yeah,
neighborhood.
yeah.
that you can't. It's like that's a thing they can't enjoy
Right.
because
Okay.
of caller ID.
Terrible.
So
I realize what it is about Kaiser that I love so much.
he doesn't give a shit.
Yes. But it's also that like there is something about the accent that then there is like a vocabulary that is like, this is what Brett's jealous
Whole
of.
lexicon.
That he's like, oh, my favorite thing about my boy Neil deGrasse Tyson
I'm a big
is
fan.
that like, I just feel like you're so
No.
smart.
No, you're right. You expect them to
But
be
it's
like,
that horrible.
right?
Like, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, did he get his boy Lindelof?" Like you're like, "Oh, this is a guy." But then
knows
he's
his
also,
shit.
but then he's
No,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, fucking get the rucksack over her shoulder."
That's the thing about the Pythagorean theorem. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
It is all right. Let's get a few more here. Hold on. All right. So Ken, yeah, I would love to reach back out to Ken, see if we can get him on here for sure. Popcorn shower.
Oh.
Hello, you awesome people. Christian, a few months ago, I saw one of your Collider videos in the suggested section of YouTube. Now, months later, I'm a full-blown SEN schmodown shill. Okay. Thanks for creating such a fun and informative platform. Thank you so much. And I think that's kind of what we're going for here, man. We're hoping that you guys find us, even if you found us maybe from the Mandalorian reviews, because we picked up like 6,000 new subscribers over the last
Just on that.
3 weeks, and we're hoping that people are tuning into this, going, well, what's this show? What's happening here? And then you can go check out the Schmodown, and we hope that you do check out the Schmodown. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into it. Movie Trivia Schmodown. The tournament is in full swing right now. We're getting to round number 2. The finalists, whoever wins that entire tournament, will be playing against Dan Merle and John Roca for the titles on December 7th with 4 other matches, big matches. Ben Bateman versus William Bibiani in the first match. Then we have the winner of that will play for the title.
So Bibiani will play for the title.
You think so? Will Bibiani?
your guy?
That's
your guy?
Will Bibiani win the title?
No.
Oh, you think his guy's going to
Yeah,
win?
100%.
Oh, you
Yama's
think-
got it.
My guy is lethal.
He's
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah,
He's
your
My guy
guys-
sits on an island in the middle of the Pacific fucking Ocean and just
studying.
watches
It's a
everything.
good place to study,
Yeah.
though, too.
He's the man.
He is studying a lot. I talked to him.
Listen, you know what's great about that kid is he can just talk movies for hours with you. Like when we go grab burgers and beers, man, we just talk movies.
Yeah.
And he can go back in the 70s and 80s.
We're talking about Oyama, by the way.
Paul Yoyama, yeah, prime time. He's ready, man, and he's unflappable for a kid that age to be that just calm.
How old is he?
He's 21.
Youngest, 22, just turned 22.
22.
He's youngest champion we've ever had. By
It's going
far.
to be a great match, whoever he plays.
Who would you, as a manager, who would you rather play, Bateman or Bibbs?
I'm going to say, actually, and I'm not, and I like Bateman, and I think he's a great competitor and got his shit together. I'd say I'd rather play Bateman because I'd rather have Bateman at his best than Bibbs at his best because that free for all thing, that kid made me a fan. Like I walked in shaking his hand, like introducing myself to that guy like day one in the Schmodown when no one knew who I was. Or still thought I was kind of
right because of the after the free for all.
That just impressed the hell out of me.
does it
Anybody
not?
who can what's that?
I said, how could it not? He stood
Yeah,
for 3.5 hours.
that is the most impressive thing I've seen in the Schmodown.
Yeah, if you've never watched the free for all, that's one maybe that can get you into it. Also, it's like the free
You
for
see
all.
all the characters. It's great.
So you see all the characters. It's like the Royal Rumble. It's 35 competitors. I think we had 39.
Did I secure my spot with a match this year? Can I get in on that next time?
What, get in the free for all?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see.
All right.
So you play. You came. You
He
can't-
just said rucksack. You got to let this man in.
Come on. I had a decent showing in Orlando.
You did. That was a fun one. We're also going to get to Mike McClunky McSchlong.
Hey.
Hey, gang, I have a thought about, you guessed it, Star Wars. If
Tim
Disney,
Sim here, blessed to see that prank call, lol. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. P.S. Unfortunately, I will not be able to come to the spectacular because a few days later I'll be facing 4 daunting final exams. Sorry, y'all, but I hope to come to see the draft.
You don't need to take those tests. Just go to the show.
The draft, no, it's true. Well, the draft is
Was that
January.
y'all?
Just
Was that a-
paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, draft
I
is
also like that
January.
she says tuner.
She does say tuner.
She's Australian.
Yeah. January.
Is it official, the draft
and
and
the awards same
it's
day,
official.
January 11th. Yeah, and looking at the Comedy Store, so it'll be available for fans to come see the awards, and it'll be probably during the day.
That's going to be a bunch of fun.
It's going to be real fun. So
for fans,
you
because
did you go to the awards last year?
I surprised you. Remember,
You
I
did,
rolled
sure,
up.
that's
I
right,
said,
you
I
did,
told
that's right,
Smets, I'm
that's
like,
right.
that's when you all decided I was going to be a manager, and
It was
I
at the awards.
just popped onto
That's
a call
right.
sheet. That's what he did to me. He just put me on
I
a
got
call
a
sheet.
manager now. Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about it like, Smets is like, he's going to be my manager, and Christian's like,
Well, because I know, because you even said it. Like, I write for you really well.
I
Okay,
say you can get
Just
my voice
noticed
down.
your Dodgers hat. Is that your team? Trying to get my friends into baseball. Any tips? I'm a Cubs fan, but when my team is out, I'll root for LA. What did you think about Nats WS win?
So
That
for
was
people who
impressive.
didn't know, Kaiser's been involved in baseball all his life. His dad is the legendary umpire Ken Kaiser.
2 World Series?
Yeah,
2
yeah.
All-Star
No
games?
shit.
Yeah. So when so you grew up in baseball. So
I did.
It's funny because even when I talked to Nathan Hamill, right, and like you talk to Nathan, you think that kid, he would not want anything to do with Star Wars,
Right.
But he loves it,
Right.
And I would say maybe this could be the same thing. Did you ever have a point where you didn't want to be involved? You didn't like baseball at all because
I think because I was a fat kid, football was always like
Yeah.
the easier thing for me. I was a horseshit baseball player, but I loved the game. I loved, I collected the baseball cards. And
Yeah.
you got to remember, being an umpire's kid, you get to go backstage.
Yeah,
and
jeez.
I'm shooting hoops with Ken Griffey Jr., before games. And silly.
Sorry, there's somebody at Christian's door. Sorry.
It's the UPS man.
you should tell everybody. It's good.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up in the
Fucking
game.
Schmobot over here just interrupting the conversation in the middle of it.
Actually, it was your phone.
Sweet
That's
potatoes,
ringer is
mulligan.
on.
He didn't even pay attention
Your
to it.
ringer
He
is
didn't
on.
even-
Your ringer is
I
on.
feel like I should be her manager.
If she could play movie trivia, she would have been champion by now.
I can't be managed.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
So
Sorry,
yes,
I wanna hear the story.
I grew up in the game. I did love the game. I mean, look, I don't have. Funny enough, growing up in the game, I don't even have half the knowledge a guy like Knapsack has. I mean, that guy is a walking
right.
base. Even Tom, those guys know a lot more baseball than me. I think I kind of fell off at some point.
Okay.
I got more interested in movies, and my dad would drag me to the racetrack in the off season. And he'd buy me comic books to keep my mouth shut for nine races. So I got 3 books last year, or 1 book last year, 3 races.
amazing.
And I think that's probably how I, get interested in movies and end up going to
say
film
gambling.
school. yeah, come on.
Right.
I didn't need much, ushering into that, but where I grew up. But yeah, I mean, I think baseball is still a part of me. To answer his question, I was I'm a Yankee fan. I bleed pinstripes. I'm just repping the hometown boys. You're Yankees too. Tom's Mets.
Tom's Mets.
Kid from the Bronx is a Mets fan. Go
I'm from
figure.
Queens.
Right.
I should be a Mets fan.
You should.
But
you
I'm
guys
not.
are the reverse.
Well, my dad grew up on the Giants, New York Giants
no
baseball
shit.
team. Then they left, and he's like, I'm not rooting for any of these assholes.
Right.
And then Reggie Jackson came in. He started rooting for him in the 70s.
Right.
And that's when I was around, like the late 70s. So he it was the Mattingly era really was.
Well,
what
that was
I remember
my
the
idol,
most.
man. Mattingly was my.
Yeah.
But go
Dodgers,
ahead.
though, Brooklyn Dodgers
Sure.
initially. The
Yeah,
Brooklyn Trolley
originally-
Dodgers.
originally.
That's how they got their name,
Yeah.
the Trolley
Yeah,
Dodgers.
they moved him on over.
But my dad wrote a book called Planet of the Umps, all about his
wow.
life in
Oh, nice.
baseball, and it's a no holds barred. He ain't holding back. You know, he tells it like it is. He wrote there's a chapter in there called "Never Tell Him Who You Are,"
Right.
Because when you're in the stands, nobody's there to see the umpires, so you don't tell them that's who your dad is.
Right.
So I did get punched in the face by a biker in Camden Yards once.
Wow.
Because he was Kaiser, you fat blah blah blah, and then
You were
my
6.
buddy Sonny Mangini, go figure.
Yeah. Didn't
He's
see
like,
that name coming.
that's his dad you're talking about. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, you need to read this
And
chapter.
this biker turned around and punched me with a drunken open fist. I was in like 8th grade.
He punched you because of your dad.
Yes. Shit. I escorted him out. And I'll never, because you sit with the players' wives in that whole family section when you're
Was your dad made a bad call or something, or he thought it was a bad
just
call?
he was drunk and looked
yeah.
Your
like
dad was
some
drunk. Uh-huh.
on the field.
Strike! He hasn't thrown a ball.
Like a strike, I think.
It's like Leslie Nielsen.
He's asking you the batter, you make the call. But this guy got bounced, and I wasn't worried about getting punched in the face by some sick fan. I was worried about my dad finding out that I got punched.
Yeah, no shit.
And my buddies are like, no, he's working the game. Nobody's going to know nothing. We get back to the dressing room, and my dad is in the shower. I just see him like he leans out, and it looked like a wet rhinoceros. He charges me, trying to keep one hand on the towel, his big ass waddling out. And he grabs me, and he's like, didn't I tell you, never tell him who you are. You must be fucking stupid. This is your last road trip, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how did he find out? It's like the usher told the security guard, told the head of security. Like in 3 innings, he was on the field and knew, oh, yeah, your son just got in a fight with a biker. Crazy stories like that. But that was the golden era of baseball, the 80s, and it was fun.
See, look at that. And this is what I'm talking about with these questions. You can take us to any single road, and we're gonna keep. We got a few more of these streamers. We haven't got super chat yet.
I know, but I need to understand something. Do umpires? Because I'm completely ignorant on this. Do umpires stay at the home stadium, or the umpires travel with the team?
They what they'll do is they'll travel to a certain part of the country. So you'll do New York, Toronto, Boston, Cleveland. You'll work and then you fly out to the West Coast.
So there's
3
no
days in each
team
city.
allegiance.
No.
Yeah.
But your dad worked at Yankees a lot.
At the time, my dad was an American League umpire.
Okay.
Now all the umpires are integrated. They all work national and American.
Okay.
So I never really was into the National League at all.
Because you never saw it.
Right. And I lived in Rochester. It was close enough to get to Toronto, Cleveland,
Gotcha.
How'd your
Boston.
dad get into that?
He went down to spring break in Florida to party, and then one of his buddies decided he was going to stay and go to this umpire school. There are umpire schools. Believe it or
So
not.
crazy.
I hate to bring up a sore subject, but mac and cheese with tuna tastes like sweaty schlong. Adding peas to it makes the aforementioned sweaty schlong into a sloppy sweaty schlong. No one should ever subjected to a schlongtacular concoction of evil.
Oh, there you go.
Seriously.
Well worth the money.
Yeah.
That was my favorite though. Like still, like you and Bateman and Guy handle it really well, right? Between Josh Robert Thompson and Ellis goes, yeah. I mean, if you want to look,
Hey.
Well, because he tells it like it is. That's the great thing about Ellis.
But anyway, so he went to umpire school, and then
He went to umpire school, and this will make you know this part too. Back in the day, in like the late 60s, early 70s, these umpires weren't making shit for money. So my dad would supplement his income by wrestling. But this was when it was like American Legion halls. This is like Cohen Brothers style and shit, like
Is
backwoods.
that how you got into wrestling and stuff too?
Well, yeah, because my dad's best friends were Bobby Heenan, Bobby the Brain, Big John Studd.
Yeah.
All these guys would come over for dinner when wrestling was in town.
Oh, so you
Hawk
lost
and
your
Animal
mind.
were.
Yeah, right.
I still friends with Animal to this day. Hawk was my idol.
Where's Animal live?
I think he's in Minnesota, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to remember.
Show up to the spectacular.
Oh, fuck.
Kidding me?
Hawk was my guy, man. I had a few nights out with him, and I try and bring a little bit of Hawk to
Totally. You
to
guys
Kaiser.
You got Road Warriors for sure.
Yeah, I try and bring.
See,
a
look
bit
at
of
that. So we're learning more and more about Kaiser.
But then, basically, real quick, minor league baseball found out one night when his mask got pulled off because there's only so much shit to do in town. You go to you go to see the Sea Caucus Lions game, and then you go watch the wrestling match. His mask got pulled off. He went by the name The Hatchet. And the commissioners were like, baseball or wrestling, take your pick. And,
wow.
That's awesome.
And then he made it to the big leagues. Got lucky.
I'm going to get to a few more Streamlabs, and then because we haven't got to any super chat yet, so I do want to get to the news. So let's do a couple more Streamlabs, then I will jump to the news, and we'll go back to finish off the Streamlabs plus the super chats with Kaiser, Kate, Brett, Ben, and David Michael Frank. I was reading Mike McClunky Mishlong's thing before. Hey, gang, I have a thought about it. You guessed it, Star Wars. If Disney used a plot point from Mandalorian in Rise of Skywalker, they will alienate most of the world, as not everyone has Disney Plus. So they probably won't use any. At least I hope not. Love from South Africa. So basically meaning that any of this stuff, a lot of people are asking, will Mandalorian tie into Episode 9? I agree with him because it's too hard to do. Plus the fact when JJ started writing his thing and they're not going to collaborate, they got to figure out what the hell's going on. So I agree, and I think that it'd be too tough to be like, wait a minute, I haven't seen any of the Mandalorian. What the hell is this? This doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, so that's
wait. They're saying they think Mandalorian should be in this next upcoming.
No. He's saying a lot of people have been suggesting that maybe certain events from Mandalorian could tie into 9.
Okay,
I don't think it's going to happen, and he doesn't think it should because it'll alienate. And I agree.
Yeah, and you don't want funny jokes in Rise of Skywalker. You don't want to throw things off like that.
Nick Piccolo. Kaiser, how does it feel to be the best manager in the Schmodown? Any words for your fellow Schmodown managers? Hashtag the dungeon, hashtag manager of the year.
I'm only as good as my guys. And right now, Kevin the Smasher Smets is hell-bent on taking that belt. He's been preparing for this since we first saw you at the Comedy Store. I mean, I came in with that kid, and truth be told, I came in on a mission with him. I said, I'm going to do this with you. You're going to get this belt. And that's how it all started. And then, yes, I got lucky that I get Paul, caught him on a good upswing. I get Zipper, and now I got a crew, and I really felt like I arrived. And, you know, I'd come and watch your shows every now and again, but never did I ever think that I would get involved as a manager, as a performer. And it was Smets, who's one of my best friends, that brought me in. And you know what? We did what we said we were going to do. We walked into that Comedy Store as nobodies at the award show, and here we are 1 year later performing for a freaking championship belt at the biggest event of the year. That's insanity to me. And to do it with one of my dear friends, and you bringing me in, and I'm gracious because of the guys like Ken and Jay who break my balls, and Bobby, Gucci. I mean, I love those guys breaking my balls. Like
Roxy breaks your balls.
Roxy's great. Yeah. So, like, Roxy says it best. She says, like, if you can't have fun and play with the other person, you take the shit serious, then you're missing the mark.
Yeah.
So, I just feel like I am the manager of the year. Let's just not pull any. Someone said runner up. I am the manager. I am till I'm not.
Ken and Grace are having a good year.
I am until I'm not.
Okay.
They're below me.
All right.
And Gucci may even be ahead of them at this point.
It could be. It's going to be interesting to see those awards plus the draft.
It's going to be sick.
It's going to be really good. But all right, let's see. Kristen Smith. When are we getting a Kaiser Dagnino show? The world needs it. I would love to have it. We're in talks. I mean, David had said to me right before we started today, and we just need to be running a lot of shows here and doing more stuff. Like I say in the beginning of almost every show, we are not run by a corporation. We're run here by the Super Chats and the Streamlabs, and we're building. So the idea is to build more shows. I want to get Brett and Kate, find out how to do their show. I'd love to get a Dagnino and Kaiser show. I want to do something with Rachel and Mike Kalinowski.
For $42,000 donation.
I know.
Yeah.
So we can
Tom
pay.
Dagnino.
Yeah, so we can pay. Yeah, exactly.
Call Mug or Mog or whatever. I forget the name.
Yeah. Call to action put in the Schmobot before. Rob Mack. Kaiser, if both Oyama and Smets lose their championship matches at the Spectacular and you can only keep one of them in the draft next year, who do you keep and who do you lose?
I'm not losing either. They're both winning.
That's not what he asked.
I don't care. I'm not losing. I told you I'm walking out of there 2-0 with 2 belts over their shoulders. So
makes it a lot easier.
I agree with you.
They're not going to lose.
Wow, look at this. Okay.
You don't even need to do that.
Listen,
unlock that
you
wood.
think Smets is going to beat Kalinowski? You're gonna
Oh wait,
go-
no.
I was like, wait a minute.
No, sorry.
She loves
Well,
Kalinowski.
Well, and that's
I wasn't
fair.
paying attention.
That's
No,
fair.
sorry. I didn't realize.
Mike is the kind
I
of
didn't
guy.
realize that's who he was
Yeah.
playing.
I think Mike is the caliber of player where if he didn't study for 2 months, he could still walk in there and beat you. He's just that good.
But so
you know?
Smets.
Well, Smets is great,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying we're talking about the other guy,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
a damn good competitor. And truth be told, as just a fan of the Schmodown, I do love his character secretly. Like he's a funny. Son
Also,
of a
you
bitch.
just Jedi mind tricked me. You're like, we're gonna win both of those. I was like, yes,
Yes,
we
you
are.
are.
And you're
And
like,
then
that's
Kalinowski.
he's playing your
Those-
guy.
that
I'm
isn't
like,
the
oh, wait,
champion.
no.
Kalinowski's our favorite player. So.
Hey, that's fine.
Who would you
I mean-
pick if Kalinowski played Bibiani? Who would you-
Bibiani's my favorite player.
Oh, so
to be
you-
clear, Bibiani's my favorite player. Kalinowski, I prefer over Bateman. Because
So then when Bibbs and I are talking, we talked last night. He wants to come on SEN Live, so you want to be on the show when he's on.
100%.
Okay, fine.
How does he feel about blowjobs?
About what?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
He goes, now I'm not coming on.
And $42,000 fine.
Well,
I
Billy
owe
Bet-
$42,000.
That's right. Billy Bedford put in a Schmobot before, so did Paul Denuzio, Christian Arellano, Matthew Hughes, the great Wog 0521, McClanky. Exile Garlic says, I gotta say that clip makes me sad that we never got Ray, Finn, and Poe working together in the other movies. Did you check out that special look for episode 9, though? It's real good. I did see the special look, and I do agree with you. I thought it was really good. Did you see the special look video, Ben? No, you're not watching anything. So I did like the special look, and that's why I was looking forward to this clip that we saw that I was a little bummed about. PC, yes, Tombstone. What kind of beer did you drink? Sounds like a good weekend, Kaiser.
I drank a beer called, well, my favorite beer, go figure, is Arrogant Bastard. It's a
that makes
stone beer.
sense.
They didn't have that at the place we were watching the game. They had some. It was a tangerine something. It was like a.
That's funny. Arrogant Bastard's dark. You would think that
Yeah.
you wouldn't like the tangerine then.
It,
You like-
it was or a scorpion. It was
Express?
no. I'm sorry. I misspoke. It was Scorpion Bowl by Stone. I'm a big fan of Stone Brewing Company.
Stone makes good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, we serve a lot of it at the bar I work at.
Oh, yeah.
Arrogant Bastard's really good.
Yeah, it's one
of
of
the few like harder beers.
Right. You can only have a couple.
Keystone Light.
Keystone Light.
I
That's great.
I drink beer.
You and
very
Sheriff
casually, so-
Buford T. Justice drinking Keystone Light.
Keystone Light.
You and Cooter from the Dukes of Hazzard knocking back Keystones.
Oh, all right. Maceres Ajay put in a Schmobot called Action. Ben Rayner. Suge Knight.
Oh,
He says, morning,
Hey,
everybody.
Shuggy.
I wanted to say
The
hi.
Suge Knight
No,
from
the-
prison?
The
Yeah,
Suge Knight is
323.
from prison.
Yeah, morning, everyone. Wanted to
Richard.
say hi and super excited for Spectacular. Sup, Kaiser? Is everyone
Sup.
Is everyone excited for Kong versus Godzilla? And I'm a tamales guy for the holidays. Oh, look at that. Tamales, yum. Kong versus Godzilla, I am. I did not like the sequel. Didn't really love the first one either. But
What? First one was great.
the ending was great.
The kid,
Godzilla's
what's his
not in
name? The kid who directed Rogue One.
Yeah, Gareth Edwards.
Love
but
that guy.
Yeah, but
Visionary.
But dude, that the whole movie is.
I
just
know.
And I
You got
hate
sick of the characters.
also-
What I hated about that when people go, well, it was kind of they were trying to go for Jaws. Stop it.
I've never heard that argument.
Stop it.
Shot for shot, that's a beautiful movie because Edwards captures perspective better than anybody I've ever seen. That's why I think he was the guy for the job.
Yeah.
When those people are walking through the office building and you're seeing Godzilla, it's like that's how you would see it if you were like,
Right.
working that day. Like,
it's
so for me,
gorgeous the way it
the
looked.
vision
Sure,
was
sure.
beautiful. I get it. The characters were a little laborious. I mean, but you still get. Is that a word?
Dude, these
those
characters are so laborious.
Laborious.
No, laborious. No,
Is that
no,
right?
no. No,
Perfect.
you're,
Yeah.
it's a word that I say, but I
Okay.
sound like a person that would say that word. You know what I
I look
mean?
like one too.
Yeah, I look like.
I'm like,
Oh,
you-
it was
you-
laborious. It was
placing
laborious.
me in a precipice here.
I haven't
You-
seen the
Yeah.
sequel though, Christian. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. All right.
You're saying it's no good. The sequel.
No. The second, it's I didn't love it. Kong is my favorite, and you know what's gonna happen. Kong and Godzilla are gonna scrap for a little bit.
Wait, did Kong was he in the sequel?
They mentioned
tease it
they
or
mentioned like
something?
Skull
Oh.
Island and stuff.
Okay.
But like they're gonna fight, and then they're gonna team up. That's that's gonna happen. They're
okay.
both good guys, so they're not gonna. It'll be the Avengers.
They're both
of
hookers
monsters.
with a heart of gold.
That's right. That's right.
In the monster world.
Charles King put in the Schmobot. Jake Acavetta,
Hey,
Action
Hey,
Army
Jakey.
salutes the dungeon. Can't wait for Smets to get that belt at Spectacular.
Oh, wow.
Hey, look at that. You
There's
got
one
the-
vote against
yeah.
Kalinowski. Now that I know that's who he's
One of
playing.
about 1,000 that are going to come in today. My
Gravy,
people have spoken.
gravy boat. What's everybody's favorite type of tree? Bonsai tree. I mean, come on.
I mean, come
Willow
on.
tree.
Willow tree.
Come on, you troglodytes. You fucking bonsai.
That's right.
I could see Christian like 85 with like 50 bonsai trees back here, just like
85 next Tuesday.
snipping and shit.
I like
Miyagi
a
style.
nice paper birch.
Let's say Haskell 420.
Oh, you don't have a favorite tree?
I'm gonna say oak because they make
tree.
good beds.
Oh.
Make a good bed out of
An
oak.
oak's
Real
a
nice.
It's a laborious process, but
yeah.
Yeah, Charles King, who we put in the Schmobot before. Exiled Garlic. Has David Michael Frank used Christian's bathroom yet?
Oh no, my camera just went.
Oh,
out.
no.
Oh, man.
So sad.
What happened?
Well,
you kicked it out.
Oh,
Christian.
hey.
oh, I got that backup. I got that.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
There he is.
I'm saving myself.
So he's up in the bathroom.
Really.
All right.
He looks like a kid who'd have a Fiji bottle under the table that he pisses in. Show your piss bottle.
Specificity of Fiji. Oh my God.
Show him your piss bottle.
Oh God.
David Piss Bottle Michael Frank.
We got sweet potatoes McCallahan over here.
Piss Bottle. Bruce Leroy. Love getting to know all these Schmodown personalities and people. Kaiser, is there anyone that you're looking to draft outside of the dungeon? Please draft Lon and Paul Preston and have them form a dominant team. Kate's awesome. Go Huskers. Fuck Brett. No, you didn't.
Go Huskers.
Yeah. What do you? So what about that? Who else besides
It's gotta be you, Huskers.
who you got your eyes on?
I mean, look, I'm an Andrew Guy fan. You got to love this guy's his presence and his
Yeah.
swagger, and I'd be foolish to say I wouldn't love to see Guy in the dungeon. He'd be a great fit. Video Drew and Tom would be pretty interesting in the dungeon. I think they're both studs and they're both crazy and weird. So
Just
that's
won
a
a big
good
match.
fit.
They just won a really big match just now.
I'm-
They got
I'm
Time
very-
Machine now. They got
I'm
playing Time Machine.
excited for them, and Janine obviously is one of my.
Ethan.
I like Ethan. I like Janine better.
That's a no.
no,
No on Ethan.
No, you know what? Big Time is fun to watch. As a competitor, he's one of my favorite players to watch. Janine, I just love. She's a sweetheart. So Janine's a total package. Yeah. She's brains. She's she's beautiful. She's smart, cool. Getting Janine in the dungeon would be great.
Wow,
I think
that's gonna be taken out of context.
Jay may not. Jay
Let's
may,
not clip out that one.
oh, she's been to the dungeon.
And there's our 42,000. Fine.
All right, sorry. Andrew DiMolanta, the great Andrew DiMolanta, Star Wars player. Great show, guys. Keeps me laughing all week. Kaiser, is there anyone in particular that you are looking to get in the draft?
Yeah, you.
Your boy Smets knows who to get in the Star Wars division.
Yeah, we know that you're the guy. We got our eye on you. Tell him to stop. Tell him to stop being coy. All right, we know where you are. We know who you are.
All right, you're gonna look for DiMolanta. T Sim put in that great Schmobot. Thomas Lopez. What's up, guys? I wanted to hear all your opinions on who you think has had the best performance of the year so far. My vote goes to Phoenix or the kid from Jojo Rabbit. So I would also say Phoenix, but I would also throw Adam Driver from Marriage Story
I heard
in
that's
there.
supposed to be great.
I'm going to give that to you today.
Okay,
so
great.
You review it tomorrow.
Perfect.
But
I'm not on tomorrow, but
Wednesday.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah,
switched it.
Yeah, switched it.
to.
Oh, listen. So that reminds me. Tomorrow, listen to the crew that we have tomorrow. We got Mark Ellis coming in. Bonnie Somerville makes her return to Schmoville. She'll be in tomorrow. Brett will be here. Wednesday, finally, Winston Marshall and Kate will be on together.
Can we please get a schmoedown in upstate New York with Kaiser in the dungeon? It would be a homecoming, and if you come, I will treat you garbage plates.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
I mean, it's someone had suggested going Buffalo because to try. That's how you get the Canadian people in there.
Cleveland.
But yeah, we were thinking
too far.
We were thinking Detroit. Because,
Detroit's great. I love Detroit.
I don't know. There's a lot of different plans to come for sure. But
Do Niagara Falls. We're all going to get in a barrel together and go over the side.
Sounds good. Let me see if I can.
That's that famous story.
Yeah.
So wait,
that
am I
lady,
on
that
Wednesday
cat.
or?
You are Wednesday.
Oh,
Let's have
okay.
you.
Because I
Let's have
haven't
you
been
too.
on with Winston either.
Don't worry, he'll book
you
you
haven't?
5
No,
minutes
no,
before.
that would be my first Winston.
I thought you guys had a show together.
No,
oh,
no.
Okay, so yeah, so me, you, Winston, and Kate on. That's a
Yeah,
really
I can't
fun show
wait.
on
That
Wednesday.
was I've been looking forward to.
Oh, good. Winston's the best. All right, so and I know there's so many super chats that we need to get to, and we're going to get to all of them. But let's go to the news here. So let's shut the Schmobot down for a little bit. We let her go on for a little bit too long. But we're going to talk about some movie news, and there's a ton of it. Not just movie news. There's news in general. You want to go over this main topic here, Ben?
Yeah, let's talk about the main topic, and it was about Sacha Baron Cohen making a speech at the Anti-Defamation League Summit, And it was basically about Facebook and how he quoted, "Today, around the world, demagogues appeal to our worst instincts. One thing is pretty clear to me. All this hate and violence is being facilitated by a handful of internet companies that amount to the greatest propaganda machine in history." End quote. So what he was basically saying is that Facebook allows fake political ads to be run on there without being checked. And there's a quote in here somewhere, like this speech was amazing and had so many pull quotes, but one of them was basically like, if Hitler was around, when he would have Facebook ads as well. So what do you guys think about this? I know we try not to be political on this show, but it's a big topic. And do you think Facebook needs to crack down on this, along with Twitter? Twitter's not exempt from this either. And I agree with a lot of what Sacha Baron Cohen said, and I'm glad he didn't do it in character. This is his first non-character speech in a long time, so it's very important to him. So over to you guys.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually watched. I watched
the
it.
whole
Yeah,
thing? I read it.
I watched it, and he says that he's like, this is the first time I'm appearing as my least popular character, Sacha Baron Cohen. So he had like a few jokes in there. I initially, when I read it, was like, oh, Sacha Baron Cohen, you cannot be like. There's something like we all know he's a brilliant man. I mean that like he could take a test and get every answer correct. I mean
like
brilliant.
Kaiser.
Yes, exactly. Like there's a brilliant. I'm not
me.
overusing brilliant. Like I actually mean that in an IQ
I
way.
think he's our era's Charlie Chaplin, to be honest with you.
a good
Is what
call.
I
Yeah.
compare him to.
Just
with
I
the
guess-
comedy and the political outlook.
I guess I was sort of like, oh, Sacha Baron Cohen, like you're a dude that like puts your balls on a person's face. Like I don't know, like it's and he actually
He did that when he talked about when he was being nude running through the thing.
He addresses it, and he and I felt better about it because I sort of feel like I don't love that comedy where you're like, even if they are bigots I feel like it weakens your case when you're pulling one over on them. And I've always felt like, you know, he says like, you know, I got this dialogue going, or like I showed in Arizona how easily people were ready to jump on this anti-Semitic thing.
Yeah.
And it's true, but at the same time, it's sort of like, yeah, but like it was at their expense. Like, I don't know. It's just, there's like comedy that's at somebody else's expense always sort of makes me a little uncomfortable. That being said, I felt like this was like a very interesting. It's easy to take him seriously when he sort of pulls back the mask.
Yeah,
and he
because
talks about
it's what he was saying, and there was the points that he was making that I initially had the same reaction. I was like, well, what are you going after social media for? What? Yeah. And when you look at the reasons why,
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong
he's
at
not
all.
wrong.
Yeah, like Facebook, they haven't done anything.
No,
wrong, right?
no, but
I mean, they're
right.
But he also called out Google.
He's talking about
too.
everybody.
He's talking about the algorithm.
Everyone knows the whole
about
Cambridge
YouTube.
Analytica thing. That's
Yes.
all.
He's talking
Yeah.
about all
common
of that.
knowledge now.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those reasons that YouTube's doing this thing now, right? Because they're trying to have some. It's the Wild Wild West,
Right?
You can do and say whatever you want to people with no consequence.
People
That's one
believe
thing.
anything these days.
Oh,
Wait,
that's
how
the
are
other
people
thing.
so fucking stupid? When did
Right.
everyone wake up dumb and just believe everything that they get shoveled onto their friends?
Because it's the words
now
of propaganda. It's the way that he.
in politics is like sports now. It's like you're a Cowboys fan or a Redskins.
That's what it is.
Like, look, it takes a yin and a yang to make the universe work. You need conservatives, you need liberals, you need a little bit of everyone. You just gotta find the symbiotic way of making.
But it's not that.
It's
today.
not that, because people are ignorant.
It's verse.
It's absurd.
Verses. It's all verses, and it's what he said that I thought was so smart was that you can say the most insane, crazy shit, but if you make it look good and you make it look legit, people are gonna go, "Oh,
That's
world
real.
really is flat."
Yeah,
Right.
charts and
yeah, and it's like
He's
all
saying
that kind of
Breitbart resembles the BBC.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, and it's. I think what he was saying. There was a lot of really smart shit in there. Like it's the same thing when people say it's just regulation. You just want regulation on things because his point of what he could say is any group that wants to expose hate, or they can have an audience now, and it's like we shouldn't just be like, well, they want to do it, so we let them. He's not going off freedom of speech. He's saying that it's a matter of if you walk into my restaurant with your pants down, I can throw you out. And it's like, and it's because the thing is, it's like you can do freedom of speech, but you don't have to be able to do it on my platform.
Sure.
It's the same thing when I have people in the chat room, and they say things, and they either insult Kate or Brett or me or something too, and I throw them out. And they go, freedom of speech. You can say it somewhere else, but it doesn't mean I have to let you do it here.
You can call me a motherfucker on Twitter.
Whatever you want. You can go after us wherever you want or in your own place.
Right.
But when it's
your house.
get the fuck out. And that's what he's telling us. He's like, secure your house.
Right.
That's all he's saying. I think it's a good point.
I agree.
Yeah, people
100%.
keep getting confused that freedom of speech definitely exists, but freedom of consequences also
Right.
exists.
Yes,
so
that's right.
if you say something, you're more than welcome to say it, but there's gonna be
Consequences.
repercussions
Yeah,
to
man.
it. Like there's a cause and effect to everything, and that's what people are missing nowadays. Like, oh well, I just said this, and this. Why am I fired? It's because of that. You
Right.
still are representing.
It's also
other-
threats.
Yeah.
It's also threats. Like there should be no, like, even when you guys joke about like getting dick pics, that's harassment.
Yeah.
It's harassment. That's like you could report that and get something. It's like, well, I just figured. What'd you figure? What'd you figure?
Figured you wanted to see this
Yeah, right.
Tuesday at
These
2 o'clock.
cameras and nice lenses. I mean,
Right. I polished it up.
But to
groomed
be
him.
clear, Sacha Baron Cohen is specifically talking about the fact that these algorithms then cater to
Yes.
people's fears.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is, it's not just that people are putting this
No,
stuff
no,
out
no,
there.
no,
It's
no.
then that somebody who is already
You can say-
anti-Semitic is then getting fed these fake stories about.
You're helping bribe
In
people's
general,
senses
yeah.
even more.
It's
Yeah.
knowing, like, if you know you have this particular fan, and you can say these things, you're like, oh, it's not true, but they're all gonna believe it.
Right.
I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this. Go, and then because it's like anything, no matter what you're watching, you could say, well, that's what I saw on the news, and I read that. So
And people need to remember it's going both ways. It's
It-
liberal.
for
No,
sure.
no,
Liberals are
Absolutely.
getting fed
Oh, I
just
to-
as
oh,
many
yeah.
fake stories.
that is
100%.
exactly why I didn't say
Right.
one particular
Yeah,
person,
yeah, yeah.
anybody. It's like,
Anybody.
well, those are the facts.
No,
those
yeah,
are not the
just
facts.
You have to get out of your bubble. Like here in Los Angeles, we're in a very
Yes.
liberal bubble, so you have to get outside and do your own research. And honestly, skip past the first 2 pages of Google results that aren't ad supported, and then you'll try and get to the facts.
Right.
And this is I find it's the people that were told us don't believe everything we read. That generation is now just those great aunts are sending you these emails,
I
and you're
know.
like, what are you doing?
Right. All right. So what do you guys think, though? Where do you stand on this? What did you think of Sacha Baron Cohen's comments? Did you see him? Do you agree with him? Do you think that he was being a little too touchy? Comment here, or if you're watching on the replay, do it. And by the way, if you are watching on the replay, please click that like button. And if you are subscribed, the alert button. That helps let you know when we're live every day and all the other shows that we do. We're also available on podcast form. We have this show that is available on the SEN live feed that you can get every day. Please leave a comment over there. Rate us over on whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can find us. We have the Schmodown podcast feed. You can find that show, Backstage, Schmodown Rundown, and then the Mandalorian reviews, plus talking Star Wars with Christian Harloff, and there is the SEN Clips channel. SEN Clips channel, for me, a lot of people have been asking me where you can find the clip outs and certain stories and things. That's where you go. SEN Clips, we're already over 2,000 subscribers over there. We just started it. If you can't watch the full show and you want to know some of the stories we talked about, you can find all of them over on SEN Clips.
There'll be a clip today of Kaiser saying he can't wait to get Janine in the dungeon.
Yeah.
That's
That's
gonna.
That's right.
Stuff like
She
that.
knows.
Well, we got some more. We got some more stories here, Ben. What do we got?
I'll do the quick Schmoes podcast plug since
Oh,
we were
yes,
talking
please,
about
please,
that.
please.
The past weekend on the Schmoes Know podcast feed, Ryan Selling and PJ Campbell reviewed Jojo Rabbit and A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood on Movie House. This coming week shows are most normal, even with the Thanksgiving holiday. Tuesday, Cody and Kieran will have a commentary on Angel Has Fallen because nothing else is out on Blu-ray that day. And the Two Shot is taking a week off for the holiday. So that's the Schmoes Know podcast feed update, guys. Make sure you guys go over to Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you guys get your podcasts. Give them a thumbs up because they do some really good stuff over there. All right, I want to talk about Tim Miller and James Cameron feuding behind the scenes of Terminator Dark Fate. Unfortunately, Terminator Dark Fate only made $235 million on a $190 million budget, so it didn't do that well. We've talked about that. But now we're getting some quotes from Tim Miller, who, as we know, got kicked off Deadpool 2 because he fought with Ryan Reynolds. That's what we've heard. And quote from Tim Miller, "I'm sure we could write a book on why it didn't work. I'm still not sure, and I'm processing, but I'm very proud of this movie. The things critics seem to hate the most about the movie were things I can't control. I can't control you didn't like Genesis or you felt betrayed by Terminator 4. I can't help that. Even though Jim is a producer and David Ellison is a producer, and they technically have Final Cut and Ultimate Power, my name is still on it as a director." And then he goes on to say, I like A Last Stand. It's not his thing. They had differences of opinion of the humans should be losing in the future. James Cameron wanted them to be winning. So there just seems to be a lot of creative differences. Tim Miller wants Final Cut, but James Cameron is James Cameron. What do you guys think? Is this going to be like a reoccurring problem with Tim Miller? Do you agree with James Cameron that he should have, like, it's his baby, let him control it?
What do you think, John?
Well, I mean, look, I'm a fan of the franchise. The first Terminator movie blew me away. I think, like, Blade Runner is my favorite sci-fi movie ever, and I think Terminator 1 was the thing that got that closest to me as a kid. It is Cameron's baby. I think, at this point, Miller should be there to kind of facilitate it. I know he's a director, but you're coming into an existing franchise as someone else's. And why wouldn't you want that guy's wisdom? I mean, look, Cameron makes fluffy shit these days with the avatars and all that. But I mean, it's his franchise. Was Galen Hurd involved as a producer?
I'm not sure,
but
they said one of the main things was that they clashed heads over, which it's funny. But the
I
first
thought
thing,
they got along. I thought they would have like really
did.
creative arguments.
That's what Cameron
from what
said.
I'd heard.
That's what Cameron said. The big thing, first of all, what I would address those comments of Tim Miller. I haven't seen any criticisms that it was Genesis or the other one was the problem. What I saw was something that they did with one of the lead characters up top was a problem. The way that they kind of developed a lot of the other characters and too much CGI at the end. Those are the stuff that he did have control of that I think was the biggest problems. But the thing that they clashed over was whether or not the humans were winning the war.
Right.
I thought that was an interesting. I'm not. It's not to me like, oh, that would have made the movie so much better. But I actually thought we saw the machines win in the war.
Right.
Maybe it would have been. Cameron wanted the humans winning the war. Maybe that was something would have been a little more interesting to it. But I don't think it was going to change the overall thing in the movie. Do you think you hear?
Well,
this?
I was gonna say, are you an editor?
No, I'm a producer.
Producer, okay.
Yeah.
So when you're in an editing bay,
he's the editor's the director at that point. I'm just there to give them.
No, but
what they
I
need.
guess I'm saying who gets final cut, and you.
Well,
Or the
remember, I
director.
work in reality TV.
I know, but still.
But for me, it's a little different because there's an executive producer ahead of me who's saying it should be this, that, this, and this. And then,
executive producer, so that people understand, that's the money.
Well, in this world of reality TV, they're the overseer. They deliver the goods. They're the one who says, this is the cut we're sending to the network. They're the ones who look at my story that I'm putting together and say, you need to change this. You need to flip that out. I need more of this. I need more of that. And someone like Smets is cutting it and putting it together. And think of me like, bringing the clay to Smets to kind of, I do a first pass of these shows. So much like an editor. When I'm story producing, I also do produce digital content, which is more traditional. I work for Omaze and all those companies. And that's different. So I put it together, and then it's usually an executive producer who's got final say. So that would be a Cameron in that instance.
That's what I'm saying. Does this sound strange to you that James Cameron had final say?
I mean, it's his thing. I would
It's
say.
his IP.
Yeah, it's his thing.
But I mean,
It does seem like Tim Miller now has two different people saying that they like the Ryan Reynolds thing. And it's just sort of like if it works like it, it seems like.
But
every film's different, every project's different.
It is, but the difference here is with Deadpool, he can walk and go, yeah, but look how much money that he can't do that for Terminator.
No.
Terminator, it's like, well, you can't do that again because on the third time, you did it the first time you walked away from a huge hit. The second one, there's reports of conflict, and your movie bombed off a lot. I still think the other big problem was the amount of money that movie cost to make. That movie should have gone back to basics, and it's back to basics now is 60 to 70 million.
True.
Smaller movies, something like Joker. Bring that budget down and get me back to that raw, gritty 1984 feel.
That's what I'm saying. Those are more cathartic experiences when it feels like one of these things is walking around your town. It's the problem I had with all those early Star Wars movies. It's like I don't want to see clones and robots. Same thing with the Avengers. Whenever they're fighting robots and shit, I don't care. I want to see hand-to-hand combat. That's what I love. Civil War, but it gets old with the robots.
You can't because there's no loss on that side of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's different for the Terminator.
Some big news here, Ben. You're probably geeking out.
I am geeking out reading this. We got some breaking news from Observer about the Lord of the Rings Amazon series, and it's been kind of few and far between about facts. We know the timeline, but we haven't really got a list of characters. We've got Will Poulter from Black Mirror Bandersnatch.
Originally going to be Pennywise, too.
Yeah. And Revenant, I thought he was great in that. Markella Kavanaugh and Joseph Mall, who's been in Game of Thrones and The Cry. And we've got some characters. Will Poulter is said to be playing Beldor, an optimistic, intelligent, and political savvy protagonist who's nonetheless more reserved than his on-screen counterparts. He says he's going to be more of the straight man to like these big Lord of the Rings personalities. Kavanaugh is said to be playing Tyra, a wide-eyed, character young teenage woman with the strength and maturity beyond her years. Tyra will provide a mixture of dramatic and comedic elements. And Joseph Mall is said to be playing Oren, a villain who can evoke a deep sense of pathos built around a wounded and fallen nobility. Though the character is middle-aged, Oren will possess a certain degree of physicality and project a sense of timelessness.
What, did Kaiser write this?
I should have read it in a New York accent. I apologize. He's got a sense of timelessness over there.
Yeah, she projects a real beautiful. I don't have any big words.
Interesting sources tell Observer that the true main character in Amazon's blockbuster series is Eldian. She is described as a complex, unique, and formidable young woman in her mid-20s who possesses an eternal quality and a strong physical component. So this is all sounding amazing to me. I love Will Poulter. He really turned me around with his performance in The Revenant. I haven't seen Bandersnatch, but any news is good news for me for this series. The more I just want to eat all of this up, and I can't wait for the first trailer. What about you guys?
Green bean casserole. I'm
No
changing
tuna.
it. I'm
No
changing it to
tuna.
green
No
tuna.
tuna.
Yeah, no, I mean I think that I probably feel you probably feel the way that I do when like Star Wars is out. I'm excited to see this. I don't necessarily geek out the same way. Show it to me. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
A lot of that sounded elvish to me, like when you were talking. I didn't know. Like it would just went over my head. But I said, but not into where I was.
I know people
not
do
where I
Now
was
you know
sleeping.
how I feel all the time.
But I wasn't. No, it wasn't that I wasn't interested. It was that it's like I don't know what this means. Just show me.
Yeah.
Just show me. Like,
Well, as a big Lord of the
I'm
Rings
like
person,
90% sure these are all elven
I was going to say that was what I was
characters.
going. But
It's taking-
Oren doesn't Oren sound like the one of the dwarves?
It could be. I mean,
Like there's like
elves and
Thorin
dwarves,
and
like,
Doran. Remember
yeah.
the
I know you're talking like
Gorin.
Dwalin.
Dwalin? Yeah,
Keely.
Dwalin. Yeah.
Guan.
Yeah, so it's taking place during the Second Age, which saw the creation of the Rings of Power and the Evil Soren's ascension throughout the realm. So I'm sure we're going to have a mixture of races because there were many
Yeah.
dwarves
No,
back
I'm
there.
excited for the series. The series to me.
When's it drop?
Billy?
Right around Beyonce's new album. She doing the soundtrack.
Yeah, when's it drop? And it's gonna be you're just gonna have.
When does it drop? And is Nas on playing one of the elves?
Release date, yes.
All right, it's fine. Sometime next year, and people are gonna lose their minds the same way they're losing. And I hope now. It's so funny hearing myself say this. I used to be like, give it to me now. I want to stream all of it. I want it week to week, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I
week to
do
week.
like that they're doing
I like
that
that
with the
tease.
Mandalorian,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I think it helps.
It does. Well, it does because if we all watched it already, the whole series, we'd be talking about something else right now.
Totally.
But every week we're looking forward to seeing it again.
Wonder who's called that one.
I'm not being silly about this.
Yes, you are.
I'm not. I wonder if people who have grown up with binge watching, if they have sex differently.
Why is that? Because they all want it. What do you mean? Like,
Just like, let's bang this out.
Let's bang this
isn't that
out.
what
Like-
everybody does?
No, for a while it's like, let's switch it up. Let's keep it going. Let's.
Oh, you mean like? Just,
I'm saying like,
Yeah.
you're trying not to get that $41,000 fine right now. So,
yeah. What I'm saying is,
See,
when
like-
you put the P in the V, and then you smash it, and then you thwack,
smash!
and then you bounce. No, I'm just saying, like, I wonder, like, it's everything. It's just they're like, let's get this
Instant
over.
gratification.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
let's-
The age of instant
Where's my O, baby?
Well,
Where's my O?
They literally have a setting on Netflix that you can up the speed of the playback
right.
now,
Oh,
so you can
my
watch
God.
it at 1.25
YouTube's the same
speed.
way.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube's the same way.
YouTube's the same way, and I get that for like podcasts and
Yeah.
stuff, but to watch a show faster than it's supposed to be, that's like they did that on cable for a while because they could squeeze in a few more ads on like Friends or Frasier. They
Wow.
squeeze in like a minute more of
Crazy.
ads.
Why were you screaming at spiders, by the way, on Jedi Fallen Order?
Oh, like I jumped into a pit to fight stormtroopers, and this 20-foot spider just wrapped me up, and it scared the crap out of me.
Oh, so, okay, but you weren't like angry screaming at it.
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
just
You
scared the
screamed
crap
like
out of me.
Makuga.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're
exactly.
good.
Yeah, Makuga did. Okay, so we're going to switch to the next topic, and then we'll get the streamlabs.com/the Schmodown questions, and the Schmobot will come back on, and we'll get to the Super Chat questions. You can still submit all of them now. Actually, please go ahead and do that. If you have more Super Chat or Streamlabs questions, do them now, so when we get to them, we can get to all of them. Ben, anything else that we should talk about? Or is that it?
Frozen 2 made a lot of money. It made
did.
$350 million worldwide.
It's your daughter's favorite movie, she told me.
She's saying it right as she's telling
That was
everybody.
her favorite
That
movie.
was his son you were talking to.
No,
She said, not the first one. The second one was her movie.
She loved the first. She was first one was the first movie she ever saw in the theater.
Oh, really?
So when we took her to the second one, she said, I took her to a screening. She was like, all right, yeah, no, we'll go see it. And then she lost her mind for it.
Yeah.
She loved it. She was singing all the songs.
She's got
playing it on
Halloween
spot.
planned out 2020. She told me she's ready to roll.
My dad
we had a good conversation.
Yeah, well, my dad
Before you showed up.
and I'm sure my dad just bought her the Elsa dress from the Disney store, all this stuff too, like for her birthday. So she's losing her mind over this movie.
Wait, when's her birthday?
December 1st.
Holy shit!
And she took my she wanted to make sure my wife went and saw it. My wife loved it. It's crushing. It's crushing right now. That's a lot of money to make over. I mean, it would do well. The first one was such a massive hit.
I don't know. All the screeners started coming in. I don't know. It was like Pixar. I was getting, Moogs and
That one
Mugs.
came in.
I was like, I'm going to watch
It's Disney's biggest animated release, right?
Yeah, it beat Toy Story 4. Which,
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
we always have to adjust for inflation because I feel like every next movie makes more money. But it just beat Toy Story 4, which I believe made $240 million first weekend. So it crushed Toy Story 4, and I loved it. It was great. We've got some first reactions to 1917. There was a screener last night. One of my favorite kind of tweets from Mike Ryan. 1917 is quite a thing. Always intense, always horrific. At times, it feels like watching an actual horror movie. I was skeptical of the one continuous shot aspect, worried if it would get too cute with it, but it really works for this story, putting us right there in hell. And I cannot wait for this movie. Sam Mendes, Roger Deakins. Looks really, really good.
It's one shot? That's the gag they try and...
Is that what they said?
Yeah, it's supposed to be one continuous shot where you don't know anything that the soldiers don't know. Like, obviously there's hidden cuts in there.
Yeah,
of course.
But it's supposed to be just like one continuous, like following along. It's about these two soldiers who have to warn about an ambush, and one of the soldiers, his brother, is in the company, so they're traveling through enemy territory, and it looks crazy.
I saw the
It's
trailer.
Tommen.
Yeah.
It's Tommen from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. So
That's the actor, yeah.
Roca tweeted out about it, and he
like it?
he loved it. Says
He's
one of his
usually a
favorite
pretty
movies of
good
the year.
barometer.
Sometimes, I mean, he liked that Last
What?
Christmas.
Last Christmas, what's
Yeah, with
that?
that Amelia Clark.
Oh, I don't know that one.
You don't need to know that one.
I wouldn't watch that.
Brutal, man. It was Paul Feig, though.
Oh, okay. I love him.
Yeah, me too. And but the movie. But anyway, Roca's hit or miss for me sometimes. But this, when it comes to this type of movie,
These type of movie, right.
for sure. Anyway, so okay, I think those are the big stories
There was
right now.
one we were talking about lead actors earlier who are. But what do you think about Shia LaBeouf? Shia.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
Peanut Butter Falcon?
Yeah, I was
Peanut
going
Butter
to
Falcon.
say.
It's my
I was going to
favorite
say
movie
Honey
so
Boy.
far.
He looks like he's so good on Honey Boy. I wonder
his
if he's-
story.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's a contender. You think?
Yes, I think he should be a contender in either one of those movies. Although I got to see Honey Boy from what I hear, though he's playing his dad, and I hear it's great. But he's awesome in Peanut Butter Falcon. He really locks into it.
It's like Tom Sawyer in the modern.
Dude, I'd like to see him get nominated. It's so funny because I've turned around on him completely because like what it was 5 years ago, I thought he was a complete imbecile and all the stuff he was doing.
Yes.
But like installation art pieces and shit.
Yes.
all that.
Yeah. With
But
a
it- but it
bag
wasn't-
over his head.
Yeah,
All
all
right.
that. So
Walk
Leave
around
that
Brooklyn,
bag.
you know.
Yeah.
It was that video though he did though, the Just Do It thing that everyone said, oh, he's out of his mind. That's the one that brought me back on.
You're like, I'm in on this guy.
I was like, I
Where's
love
he
this.
going?
I said,
This
now,
guy's going method.
But it's that kind of crazy that I started to say, all right, I think I'm starting to understand it's kind of crazy. But then he did that Hot Ones interview. Did you see that?
Nuh-uh.
Watch that interview that he did on Hot Ones. It's like there's something about him that I just really find likable
He
now.
really dissolves into that role.
Oh,
till you forget
shit.
that he's even acting. And
Yeah,
to me,
man.
those are the best performances.
Yeah.
That him and DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time are probably my two favorite performances.
Better
so
than
far.
Brad Pitt in that movie?
Oh yeah,
I
for
thought
sure.
Brad Pitt was the standout.
No, I mean Pitt was great, but was Dalton? Was that his last name?
I think so.
He had more layers to me.
Yeah.
And I think he just had a lot more to work with. And
Who wasn't in that
and he
movie?
played it very bipolar. He says he played it bipolar, like before anyone knew what that meant, and he kind of, that's how he worked it out with Quentin. But I thought it was an interesting performance.
Yeah, I did too. Okay, so now we're going to go back to streamlabs.com/the Schmodown, and people ask all the time still, what's the difference between Super Chats and Streamlabs? Well, Streamlabs doesn't take a percentage. Super Chat does, but you also get more characters in Streamlabs. But either way, if you're in the chat room now and you just want to throw in a Super Chat, whatever you want to do, and if you can't do either one, just throw a like or a comment, especially if you're watching on the playback, please. Okay, so Jeremiah Morris. So we're at Streamlabs. Just give me some love for my favorite manager. Hey, Kaiser, it was a great honor meeting you in Orlando. My favorite picture is getting Kaiser to take a picture in front of everyone else in the photo shoot. Hashtag Action Army and go Smets and Oyama. What is there? Is there like a a truce with the Action Army? Do you guys kind of run on the same side?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a
Mutual respect?
Yeah, mutual respect. I think we're friendly. You know what I mean? I mean, how can you not? You gotta love Bateman and Guy and their game.
But Bateman's on the Horsemen though now.
Well, I'm sorry, he started there, so he's still got a tinge of that in him, right? But yeah, I'd say, and look, Burnett's funny. You gotta love that dude. He's gonna bring a lot of crazy shit to the table. So I mean, as a fan, as a person who digs the sport and the game, yeah, I'm gonna hate everyone in the ring, but when I'm watching, I'm gonna have my favorites. But I'd say, yeah, they're all good people over there at the Action Army.
My favorite scene.
Funny, they're ball breakers.
My favorite scene this entire season was the first one with you and Burnett.
In the toilet.
It was the best. So Burnett's waiting so Burnett took over the commissionership, and Kaiser was trying to get on his side. And he walks up, he's waiting for him in the bathroom, and he comes out and he goes, if you need anything, I mean anything. he's like the dungeon.
He knows how to write for him.
And he goes, the dungeon's got your back. And and Burnett goes, thanks a lot, Lou. And he walks over and he goes, Lou? Who's Lou? He goes, I don't think that guy respects me. I got to take a dump. I laughed so hard when that happened.
I mean, Emma and Dagnino in the bathroom's a pretty funny scene too. I'd say they rival each other.
So
he goes, how'd it go in there?
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
Emma's in the bathroom. She comes out, and Dagnino's just creepily standing in the corner. He goes, how'd it go in there? And she goes, you're a disgusting animal.
That would probably be my favorite Schmodown moment. And then when Dagnino told Stacy, I don't work here, you hold the bucket for them.
It's really good. Okay, long live Ken 21. Hey, Kaiser, what can you say to someone who's suffering from diabetes complications?
My dad had diabetes. It's a tough road. But what I always used to tell my dad is you can't eat this bullshit, and you need to get your ass off the couch and move, whether it's walking. And, later in life, I tried to get my dad to put down the shit. I mean, when you work in the big leagues, these guys are cooking steaks for you every night and burgers, and there's beers, and there's horrific food always around. And back then, I don't think people really knew much about diet or cared. But I mean, Tom Hanks is a good guy to look to for how he controls his diabetes. He's real smart about it, and biking. And
I didn't even know he had it. Yeah.
Yes, nobody does.
But it's type 1 versus type 2.
Right.
So was your dad type 2?
He was on the shots, but he could certainly regulate things, and I'd see him fluctuate by eating certain things, and it's just diet and getting your ass off the couch and doing something, man.
Is Tom Hanks type 1 or 2?
I think he's 1, but I don't know for sure. But if you Google that, he's very interesting how he's handled it. Yeah, I would say look to him like everything else in life. Just look to Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Sorry, we forgot the Schmobot is back. Back up, everybody. So
really?
Schmobot is back.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Kaiser, for sharing.
Type 2 for Tom Hanks.
Charles
Type 2.
Oh wow. Okay, wow.
Yeah, read about that. He's got some interesting insight.
Charles King put in a Schmobot before. Gregory Dopp. He says, I love this show, and the guests and the hosts are fantastic. This is the way. Kaiser and the Dungeon are great Schmodown competitors. Keep up the fight. I love The Mandalorian, and I can't wait for Chapter 4, Episode 9 also. What is your favorite thing on Disney Plus besides The Mandalorian? I mean, the Goldblum
stuff.
The
off button.
No, I think, the fact, I mean, as a dad, it's the stuff for my kids. I mean, it keeps my kids occupied all day long. Like Mickey Mouse Club and all that stuff. You don't hear, this is stinky coming from the...
Life is like a hurricane in Duck
Oh,
World.
you've been watching that?
My kid's like, oh, DuckTales is the best.
I forgot it. That sounds like Steven Spielberg.
That was
Yes,
it was a good show.
Yeah. Brett?
We haven't actually ventured off. We do Mandalorian, and we have so many other. That's the thing. It's like I didn't know if I needed another channel, but I've got it for just that one show.
Same.
And we're still trying to catch up on all the other shit.
stuff. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
It's not like I'm gonna go back and watch Ant-Man 2 for no reason. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, you and Smets will.
He will.
Yeah, Sean Petersell. For the comedians on the table, how do you feel about unestablished celebrities using their popularity and getting attention for attempting to become a stand-up comedian? Examples like Blake Griffin, Rappaport, and Apatow, whose special was dog shit. Well, first of all, Apatow and Rappaport is a comedian. He's been doing stuff, and he's not just an actor that popped up. He's been doing.
Was he performing at the store when you used to?
No.
The army is a wide variety of people who love the traitor and the goat, but we respect greatness, and that is Kaiser personified.
Yeah, are you kind of blown away with how much love you've gotten from the Schmodown community?
Yeah, it's pretty flattering. There's some. It's crazy. I never would have thought when we decided to do this that it would go. I mean, I had an idea that the whole Dungeon Smets thing, us coming out there like the Road Warriors of trivia. I had a feeling that would tap into some of that nostalgic wrestling vibe, and you be the silent killer. I told you back in the day, I showed him Tom Hardy and Warrior. I'm like, that's you. That's fucking you right there. And then I showed him the Road Warriors, and Hawk was the comedian. I was like, that's me, and let's do it. So yes, I'm very flattered. I mean, I love interacting with the fans. You notice I have a pretty large footprint on those social media sites, and I love interacting and cracking jokes. And I feel like the fans deserve it. I mean, they tune in to watch us. They pay for these shows. They come out. They deserve it. So as much time as I have to give to it, I don't know if I can have 10 people in my stable after this draft. I don't know how that's. Is it 10?
So the way it's going to look right now is that there'll probably be 6 televised picks at the draft on the 11th, right? And by the end of the day, you have to fill up, or maybe the next day, you have to fill up 8 spots. You can fill all 10 if you want, but once you hit 10, your team is maxed out.
But you can have a minimum of 8.
You can have a minimum of 8. You can
so
keep
are there
2
people
open
that
spots.
won't be drafted?
There will be people that will not be drafted. There's going to be over 120 or 130 people in the draft. So there will definitely be some people who are not drafted. Doesn't mean you can't play. Just means that you just won't be drafted by.
You won't be represented by greatness.
No, and it also means that, like I said, like if you are doing, if you draft 7 or 8 players, right? Then by the time you have those 2 spots, if you leave the other night, maybe like Dagnino and Emma say, we're done. We're not. We've got our 8 players. We're done. And you see people on that list that are still there, you can draft all 10, but it just means that if you want to get somebody that comes into the league later, you got to either drop some players, trade some players.
You can drop anybody at any time.
We're looking to do like trade deadlines and those types of things.
Attention. Target's Black Friday sale features a discount on red sweaters followed by careless adults trampling over kids in the Lego aisle. Plus LICKLICKLICKING on MYMASCHLONGKY in the bathroom.
Slonging.
Sincerely, Gary Busey.
Gary, he's a fan of the show?
Yeah, Gary. Yeah, you haven't heard Gary?
Should he be in Black Friday, the movie?
Close your eyes. He's going to call in, right? Here he goes.
Hey, Mr. Kaiser, I've been on the moon 3 different times with the experiment of a scientist who was working on my left kneecap.
I can smell your teeth from here.
My teeth were extricated from the amalgamation of Montauk.
I see that this bottle of Macallan belongs on your side of the table, Mr. Busey.
Yeah, it's true. I once sucked together a Macallan through my left armpit through the back intestine of a cow who was just grazing on a random farm.
Did he win an Academy Award?
I think he was nominated for the Buddy Holly thing. All right, so I don't have a problem with these people who are trying to do stand up, and you should be able to use your celebrity if you're going to be able to do it. You also got to be funny.
Jeremy Piven's better. Like that's somebody who
Screech.
But like, listen, what's what's the benefit of being famous if you can't then do the thing you want to do?
Because the thing is,
the audience will speak. Jeremy Piven's probably not going to have a huge career as a stand-up comedian.
He should have done it, though. He should have done it in the highlight of Entourage. That's when he should have done it
before he got Me Too'd.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Did he lose his show?
No. It was already over.
No, not Entourage. He was on like People in the Crowd or some
really?
CBS bullshit.
I don't remember.
Something that airs after Bull.
Man, is that still a show? Bull?
Yeah, of course.
Man, UTD.
Of course.
1999.
Bonsais, of course.
Bull ain't going anywhere.
I feel like Kaiser could say yes to this, but I feel like Kate definitely will say yes to this. Have you guys ever been to Ireland? If so, what part?
It's a negative for me.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
What
I have.
part?
Well, everybody goes to Dublin, and then we went to Galway too. I was 18. My sister was studying there. She was at UC Dublin, and I'm telling you, I've every time I've like seen like a sale, I've been like, hey, like I was 8 months pregnant with our first kid, and I was like, what about if we went to Ireland? He's like, are you out of your fucking mind?
I know. My wife wants to go to Scotland. She's like, when do you think we can go? I go, when the kids are graduated from college, maybe. What do you think this is?
Yeah.
Closest I've got to Ireland is a bar called Heenan's in South Buffalo.
All right, let's say Suge Knight back. Hey, Kaiser. Yes, this is the real Suge Knight. I got 2 hours of internet a day, so I spend it watching SEN. Awesome.
Good move, Suge.
Dungeon Head. A Dungeon Head in here.
He's a Dungeon Head?
Yeah,
Suge is?
No, Dungeon Head is the name of this guy's handle.
Oh, okay.
Dungeon Head. But would Kaiser buy Jeff Snyder's couch? So Jeff Snyder was
I
selling
heard
the couch.
about the couch. I
Would you-
tuned in
would
on
you
that
buy it?
episode. Fuck to the no.
Who knows what's on there?
No.
Would you draft Snyder?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kid's a killer.
One of the best team players of all time.
He's killer, and
Yeah.
he's a funny dude. He's got a great,
Gimmick.
character,
Yeah.
and everything about him is
Yeah,
great, man.
I like it. Snyder's a,
Him and Roxy are just so goddamn good together. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can break that thing up.
You could then try to trade some stuff for him. Could do that.
He'd be
I'm
worth
curious
it.
with the sports strategy what you and Dagnino are going to be doing. Like, will you try to take, because you'll know if certain people they're going to draft people, do you take them so you can then trade higher up and maybe rip them off for other players?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's
you
what I
got to
thought
be
you were
down
doing.
and dirty.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I
I'm
thought.
bringing my shovel.
That's right. Gravy Boat. David Michael Frank has a voice that would be perfect for bedtime stories. That's one soothing dude. Hashtag Kalinowski will keep the belt down with the dungeon. Ooh.
Down with the dungeon.
So
Get in line.
Bedtime stories?
He's just saying he's
Yeah.
a very soothing voice. Can you tell a soothing story of why you think Mike Kalinowski will keep the title?
No.
Maybe try Jack and Jill or something. And the Mother Goose.
But that's
Mother
like
Goose.
that's your whole entire vibe, though. Like,
Yeah, it's chill.
Christian kicked the internet out, and you're like, oh, I'll check the chords.
Yeah. Do you get mad?
No, I really don't get mad.
I don't
no.
really see you get mad. I've never seen.
No, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
because he's drinking CBD water all day.
No, I'm telling you, this is the most. He's got the
Fiji
most calm
under the
presence.
table.
Every one of these cameras could blow up.
Uh-huh.
Right, and the internet go out. He's like, yeah, we'll
You need a
figure
guy
it out.
like that on your
I'm
team.
you are not lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like he figures stuff out. Like
He'd have been good in Vietnam. No, we got this.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
All right.
Listen, you've got one other arm.
The only time
Don't worry about it.
the only time I've ever seen him get upset was the tuna. Is what's wrong with tuna and cheese?
That was
But
it.
even
huh?
that, he said it with a smile. He's like, what's wrong with
His
tuna?
blood pressure went up 1 degree.
All right, let's see. M Sund. Well, first of all, ZCM Zombie Custom Mass put in a Schmobot. Jeremiah Morris put in a Schmobot. And M Sund. I bet we find out Yoda is the one who saved the Mandalorian in those flashbacks to his childhood, but he only saw him for a couple of seconds, and he has never seen another one of his species since. That's why he has a special affinity for the baby. That's a theory. I think it's
Was Yoda in a flashback?
So
No,
I
there's-
don't want to give too many spoilers, but there's flashbacks to like the Clone Wars, right?
I see. Wait, we've all seen the
We've
3
all
episodes.
seen
Yeah,
yeah, but I don't.
But
also
did
don't
we
wanna spoil
see a
it.
Yoda in the?
No,
Okay,
no,
that's all I wanted.
That's what
That's
their
what he's
guess is.
Because I was like,
predicting.
"Fuck, did I fall
No,
asleep?"
No, he's
no,
predicting
no.
that. Well, I actually think because I think it would make a lot of sense if you did it in episode or chapter 7. Deborah Chow is coming back. If you make it Obi-Wan, because she's directing the Obi-Wan series.
Is that with McGregor?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck,
And
that's gonna be good.
So to have him, that's the first time they actually work together
Mm-hmm.
on screen, and bringing him back to the television audience would be interesting to do it that particular way. All right, let's get to the super chat here. Mr. Toth just puts in $2. Thank you, Mr. Toth. Random rock and real riffs and reviews. I want to send some dungeon love in the chats here from the other dungeon headmaster. Hashtag dungeon for life. Hashtag Smet Smash. Hashtag Kaiser Crew. Paul Denuzio. Hey, Kaiser.
Paulie D.
Trent, are you making eggplant parmesan for the expo?
Paul and I had a great conversation about the proper way to make eggplant parmesan.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, first of
Nope.
all, here's the mistake everybody makes. You get eggplant parmesan in LA, it looks like a fucking hockey puck. It's
Oh,
this
yeah,
thick.
yeah.
Gotta slice it thin.
Yeah, that's true about
Skin that son of a
chicken
bitch.
parmesan too.
Are you making any treats for the expo? No, you'd be there.
I'm
That's
gonna
a treat.
sit there and do what you tell me to do.
Okay, good. That works.
Do you do the 7 fishes for Easter?
No, that's
You're not
that's
that
really
Italian?
religious. Like,
No, I was like, it's really
yeah,
Italian.
I got
think.
cousins that really go there, and
Yeah.
that's kind of we're
It's like
very
this
simple.
big Italian meal where it's like 7 different fish.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
heard
No,
of it.
yeah,
no.
we eat like
Yeah. It's like branzino. Like
Christmas Eve is like the best holiday within my family. We all go to one person's house, and it's the tripe, and I only eat that once a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
once a year.
Once a
I
year.
like the tripe sauce. Actually, put that on your pasta.
That sounds pretty
It's
good.
a whole nother show.
Wiley Todd, I'm seeing When Harry Met Sally in theaters on December 1st. I'm hyped. That's pretty awesome. So
Nora Ephron.
So who would you want to have a comeback career? Meg Ryan or Billy Crystal? Thanks, guys.
Billy Crystal ever go anywhere?
No,
Yeah,
that's the
Billy
thing. So it'd
Crystal.
probably be Meg Ryan because where's she been? I haven't seen her in a
God, I
time.
loved her, man. She was
Yeah,
one.
she was
Her
great.
and Madonna, I think, were my first two crushes.
she got crazy face work done, I think.
Didn't she bounce back from that?
Maybe. I don't know. Can you bounce back from that? I think that your face stays
You got
that
Meg
way.
Ryan money.
Yeah, I know.
You
That's
know?
maybe true.
Yeah, the Meg Ryan. I miss Meg.
What's
Meg-
your favorite Meg Ryan movie?
Joe versus the no,
Me
I'm just kidding.
too.
No, I'm just kidding. You like
I'm
that one?
serious. I love that
it's a
movie.
fun one.
Armed and Dangerous was really good.
John
too.
Candy, that
Yeah.
was a good one.
She was good in that
Yeah.
one too. But hard to say not.
The Doors,
very much.
she
She's
crushed.
great in that. That's right. That's absolutely
yeah.
right.
She played Pamela.
Yeah.
She did. Wiley Todd, who said that already. Joel Gudina.
Hey, Jolie Gurudi.
Joel Gudina. Do you think that Warner Herzog could be working with the uprising of the First Order? And do you think the experimenting on the child could be for the Emperor or Snoke in some way?
Jesus, it's been keeping me up all night thinking about this.
What do you
Go
think?
on.
Yeah.
I think the
The orange-headed dragon.
Yeah, the extraction was clear. they were extracting something.
They're extracting
I don't know
something.
if he's force positive or negative, but
Taking his Jedi DNA.
yeah.
No, I think Herzog's working with Giancarlo Esposito. I think that's who he's working
Does he have a character in the show?
with. Yeah. This is the trailer.
Have we seen him yet?
Not yet.
We've seen Billy Burr.
Not yet. No, he hasn't been
In the
any-
trailer,
in
though.
The trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, old Billy Ball Game.
Yeah.
There's that.
Billy Ball Bag.
I'll call him that one. It's really different. It's a porn star.
42,000.
Yeah.
We see the heat of
Oh yeah.
Warner Herzog talking to somebody.
He's talking to the doctor.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
No,
okay.
it's a doctor.
I thought it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Joel Gudina again. Schmodown in San Antonio or Austin, Texas next year. Texas is huge.
Austin.
So
Yeah.
when is Dallas?
Make
or
it
Houston?
happen.
So, yeah, I mean, we probably wind up doing Dallas. I think so too. If we're
Yeah.
gonna do it,
Dallas is a great city.
Yeah, we're talking about it for sure. Back to Joel Godina again. Did you happen to read my Kalinowski rule comment on SD Backstage? Love you all. I think I did. And the Kalinowski rule is basically going to be, you can only. This is for everybody. You're going to be able to only. Like he chose Bond like 4 matches in a row. Next season, you're only going to be able to do that 2 matches.
You mean to put on the wheel?
So let's say that Tarantino's up there, right? And every
And I
player,
chose that.
but every player will have all the categories that you can choose. They'll all be on a document, inside of the rule book and stuff. And so if Snyder's playing and he says, "I want Tarantino," now he can, for his next match that he's playing in singles, for his next match he can pick Tarantino again. But if he does it 2 in a row, then his next match he can't have it on the wheel.
That's a
and
good
then
rule.
It resets, and it's just kind of the.
That's a good rule.
Yeah, and it has to be either every other match or 2 in a row, stop, and then do it again.
See, that's to a guy like Paul's advantage because he knows every fucking
Right,
thing.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
So it don't matter what you
Yeah.
put up there.
It's the truth. Okay, so anyway, let's get what the hell just happened there? Just lost a whole bunch of them. Okay, so now we get to Michael Nicastro. Shout outs to always wearing a Kaya shirt. Kaiser.
Kaiser shirt.
KYUSS? Kaius?
I wear KY jelly shirts.
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Dungeon sponsored by. No, I'm rocking the Nitro Circus
Yeah,
today.
there you go. Dan Bescher. Favorite live action or animated Disney sequel? I mean, Toy Story 2, right?
Wait, say again?
Favorite live action or animated Disney sequel?
Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
No question.
Green bean casserole.
Lady and the Tramp 2. The
Return to
the leg lift. It's a good one.
It's a good one. All right.
Emmanuel 6.
Those are harder ones to do, though. For
My
sure.
friend was telling me today that she was like, when Big Hero 6 came out, I said to my husband, like, God, we got to watch 1 through 5.
All right, let's see.
I was like, you're an idiot.
Hey, Jake Gehring. Hey, Kaiser, how many times did you make Smets use the Fast Kaiser Pass
The Fast Kaiser Pass.
at Universal?
Are you going to play all of those?
Yeah, they're playing all of them.
Okay.
He should have had that Harry Potter knowledge on lock by now.
It's the truth, but hey, Babe Ruth didn't go 4 for 4 every at bat. You know what
right.
I mean? He's
Human.
half human. Well, he's a cyborg.
Chandra to me tested him more so than even Mike did in the first match.
Andrew's a bad dude.
Yeah, Chandra almost beat him. If it had not been for a couple, little rookie mistakes, Chandra could be playing at the spectacular.
But he did go
right now.
home with a nice pair of clog shoes.
You did give him the
Yeah,
clogs.
I
You
gave him
kept
the
those,
clog
and he wore them.
shoes.
He was
He did
wearing
wear
them.
'em.
Yeah,
Good
he
sport,
did.
that kid.
Yeah, it's true.
He'll be deadly next season.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, all right. We are going to air more of those. If you haven't watched if you brand new to Kaiser. You should see some of the stuff that he's been doing on the little cutscenes for the Schmodown. There's this whole thing. Him and Smets are looking for Kalinowski at Universal Studios. So see how that concludes. Make sure you check it out. Brandon Hanna. No, that guy. Just want to remind Kaiser that he owes me $14 just when I was starting to like the guy. Is that true? Do you owe him $14?
I don't know that kid shit.
The Lake Show. Hard disagree on the Revenge of the Skywalker clip. I can 100% see Luke and then Han doing the same thing that Finn and Poe do after C-3PO, not with the same delivery. And it was still the timing of it. Yeah, maybe with a better. It was executed bad. It's not that there was the humor.
I gotta watch.
You gotta watch it. It was the execution of it. So I disagree with you tremendously. I think that the way that they would be set up in those old school movies.
I love that you're like, tell us what you think about that clip, and then he's like, hard disagree, and you're like,
his
double hard
bullshit.
disagree. I disagree back on your disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say you're. Of course, it doesn't mean that. I'm not gonna tell me what you think, and I'll agree with you.
Tell me what you think, and I'll shit on it on air.
No, I just don't agree with it. Jader Paramo, Jader.
I know Jader, Darth Jader.
That's right. The Hurricane. The Hurricane.
Kid came out of the stands and whooped a bunch of people's asses in Orlando.
That's right. Kaiser.
And he likes heavy metal. I like that kid.
Hey, Kaiser, since we're talking draft picks, don't forget about your boy. There's a storm coming to L.A., and I play to win. That's the Hurricane. We'll talk more at Spectacular. He's coming. Metalheads Unite.
Look forward to seeing him.
Dungeon. # Dungeon. Love it. So this guy's trying to campaign to get into the dungeon.
He'd be perfect. He's not only a good kid, but he's got the eye of the tiger. He likes the heavy metal. I get down with that. So there's a lot of things we're alike in a lot of ways. I like that kid.
I have a couple more here. So, guys, if you don't submit any more because the show's almost over. If I miss any, we'll answer on the show tomorrow. Jeremiah Morris says, Kaiser, with you not getting your first pick, tell the third round who you're looking at in that range because.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it might be fourth. It might be fourth round, right?
You've got to give me some hypotheticals who would be out.
So what he's saying is,
I know what he's saying.
Yeah,
but I don't know
what I'm
the
saying
hell.
is that you have Oyama, then you'll have Zipper because,
Right.
and then you'll have Smets. You'll have all three of those. So you won't pick until the fourth. And
round.
if you get a high enough pick in the fourth, then Nina could steal that from you.
Well, he's gonna. I mean, the kid's a rat.
Yeah.
He's gonna snake it.
So I guess that's too hard of a hypothetical because you don't know who's gonna be available at that point.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah, that's hard. ZC. Oh no, sorry. Villanelle. Did you guys already say what your schedule for this week is? Hi, David, Michael, Frank. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So today obviously is over. Tomorrow we're going to have Bonnie Somerville, Mark Ellis, Brett Sheridan. Ben, you're here tomorrow? And then RB3 will be here tomorrow. Wednesday will be myself, Brett, Kate, RB3, Ben, and Winston Marshall. And then...
He's got some beef with Zipper, huh, Marshall?
Oh yeah, Marshall's coaching next year.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So we'll see how he does.
He had some words for
Zip.
He did.
for
Let him
sure.
try and come get some. He'll just show him the door like everybody else in this league.
All right, well, we'll see. And then Thursday we're off.
We didn't come here to make friends. We ain't starting to have any.
Friday.
Having a friend is too laborious.
You ain't shit in there.
Friday we're off.
Sweet potatoes, Malloy.
We'll probably do Mandalorian. Shut
a new
the fuck
name.
up for a second.
I'm
This guy's got a
sorry.
minute left.
Go.
Mandalorian reviews on Friday.
Yep.
No show, no SEN live. And let me get to these questions, and we're going to call it. Like David Michael Frank's got to get the hell out of here. He's got to catch a flight. ZCM Zombie Custom Map says David looks a little like Ralph Macchio. Can you read my Streamlab message as Gary? Oh, okay.
David looks a little bit like Ralph Macchio. Can you read this as Gary Busey? That's me. I tried to combine McClunky and Schlong.
Pity party. I just want to thank Kate only for getting to my labor question. My husband is still getting on my last nerve, questioning why I'd rather listen to other men talk. Fingers crossed the baby pukes on him instead of me today. Thank you guys. Tremendous.
Wait, what's her name?
Her name is Pity Party.
Pity Party.
Yeah. Let's see. It's the last one. Jade. Oh, no, we had Jade. That's it, guys.
That's it.
Hit the music there, David. Ladies and gentlemen, want to thank you. Thank you to John Kaiser coming in
Thank you for
here.
having me, Chris.
Make sure that you check out all the matches he's got. Paul Oyama, his big fight, and Smets,
Prime
December
time.
7th, the Schmodown Spectacular. Get those tickets at schmodownlive.com. Follow him.
Brett Sheridan, Kate Mulligan. You see their handles. Go follow them. The Ben Goddard over there. Check him out. David, Michael, Frank doing what he does. And we'll be back tomorrow, guys. Make sure, once again, Bonnie Somerville, Mark Ellis, myself, Brett Sheridan. It's going to be a hell of a show tomorrow. Thank you guys as always. Thank you for the wonderful donations and everything, too, keeping us on the air. We'll see you tomorrow, you mother Fs.